Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I didn't know what to call this stream, to be honest, because I don't know what we doing besides trying some stuff out. I know we do have opening statements in our one courtroom with the Amber Alert. So we'll look at the opening statements today for that one. We'll go through the verdict that they had in New York. Hey, therapist, you're not here all alone, honey. It's people here with you, boo. Oh, boy. Hey, Baka, good morning. Good morning. How are you? I tell you, like, I'm like, I haven't found a feed that I'm hoping that I don't know. What I can say is that this is what we got going on. We have opening statements that are in New Hampshire. We're going to go look at that. We do have some TiVo time with that, so that's going to be awesome. Hey, film. We also have, I'm waiting for jury selection in our Julio Charles Jones case. Hey, Jason. So I'm waiting for that to happen. So as soon as that happens, we'll I don't know if we're gonna go in there live. I want to do kind of like my trial prep for that one, but I was trying to wait for this to kind of like, yeah, they don't flip the switch for 24 hours. And unfortunately, like the host with the most was like, I didn't even know. I didn't even think about, hey, I could just set up a new channel. Like it's easier for me to set up a new channel than me to be sitting there waiting, right? So there we go. So we are still streaming on all platforms that we have. Once we get our original channel back and we have our rights, I will be originally going back there. I will stream on here. I will just probably post, and I think I'm gonna make it like a maybe for our after hours, and also for our I do it for like no breaks editions or something like that. Yeah, Baka. Yeah, and I that's why I gotta look. I gotta show y'all my shirt. I got on my I don't know if y'all can see it. Can y'all see it? Probably not. I don't know. I got on my Breaking Bad shirt today because I was like, I don't know what we doing out here in these streets. So if y'all can see right there, I got my Walk Baby Love on. And it's like made up of all the stuff in Breaking Bad. So you got the little mobile home there, you got the plane, you got his tidy whitey draws. What else they got on here that I can see? You got all the little stuff from Breaking Bad up in here, different little things that were special in the actual thing. I can't see it in the reverse. I know I see this. The mobile home. Y'all get my drift. So I got on my Breaking Bad shirt because I might have to break bad up in this beat. I might have to break bad up in here. That I might have to do. So yeah, I might have to break bad. I said I'm gonna filter it through the shirt. I'll be Walk Baby Love. I don't know who y'all like in regards to Breaking Bad. As long as I don't become Tuco on y'all. I like to be Gus. Girl, I don't know what that's about. A night bot? What? I don't know who did that. Yeah, the tidy whities that he wore, in the first episode is on this shirt. I know, Phil. That's why I said I gotta put my Breaking Bad on my shirt. Make sure. Make sure that I don't do too much. So you say it's a night body here, therapist? Is this why we could never get it to work on the other channel because it was trying to work over here? I don't know. I don't know what's going on because I always had this channel too, guys. I'm so goofy. I be having all this stuff and don't even be knowing about it. So I always had this channel. It just was never this name. So I had to rename it. Yeah, I seen it come through the thing, but I don't know how it got set up. I don't know what's going on there. Like, this is just a mess. Got stuff going on. I didn't even know it was a night bot over here. I don't know what's going on. It's a night bot over here. There's no mods over here. It was a channel that I had, but it was up under something different. But let me see if I can get something up for the verdict for us, Jason. If not, then I'll tell you guys what the verdict was. I mean, I got on my Breaking Bad shirt today. Does that tell you anything of what this verdict was? In some type of shade, way, form, and fashion? I'm just playing. Let me see. I want to find a video on it. Hold on. Like, I can't imagine why they. Every time I go into my YouTube, I listen to Maddie's thing. Wait a minute. I don't know. Well, I'm looking to see. I guess I can just give it to you, because I really haven't seen anything that's like. And the thing that you sent me, therapist, I can't even. I was able to see it, but I can't. It won't let me pull up any like what it is. So I can't even use that. Yeah, that's right. Be a sweet pea and not a sour patch. Right? Hey, Fowler, damn it. How are you? What is my nightbot doing? What he doing now? Oh, because it's reminding y'all to be a sweet pea. Is it coming through multiple times? That's right. Let them know, nightbot, be a sweet pea and not a sour patch. That's right. The nightbot got to get y'all here, get y'all all the way together every 2 minutes. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, therapist. You gonna have to go fix it. I don't know. I didn't know this stuff was there. So there you go. I didn't even know it was there. I don't even know how I got there. Like, I don't even know. What Would you say, Father, you don't know where you want to be? I don't know where I want to be. Well, you have a multitude of choices. So if you want to cuss and fuss and you want to broil with the Royal Rumble, you go over to Rumble. If you want to be a sweet pea and not a sour patch and look at the nightbot that comes through every 2 minutes, you're in the right place. And then, worst case scenario, when our real channel comes back, like when we actually go back to the take it to trial, I mean, you'll still have the same options. No harm, no foul. You know your messages is going in both chats, therapists. You say stay here if you want to use and here. Oh no. Maybe it's not. I'm looking for it from a different angle. I can see all the messages everywhere. Sorry. You're good. Yeah, so on this channel, I can't do nothing on. I can't do nothing but stream. Nightbot back. The Nightbot says YouTube filters certain words like oh. Oh, and it tells you what kind of safe words and how to use them right. Go on, Nightbot. Tell them what it is. You're not seeing that message? Y'all didn't see this one? I don't even know what I put on a Nightbot. Like, oh gosh. I don't know what these maybe the Nightbot is. I don't know. I don't know. So y'all saying the Nightbot is on the YouTube page. See, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So I don't recall putting no Nightbot over here. Let me see if I can look at the chat over here. I can't, because I'm looking right now. I see all the chats. Let me see what chat to see is what. Yeah, it won't even let me look at the chat over here through my YouTube. What is this called? The control room? I don't know. I don't know where the message going. I don't know where the Nightbot working at. I don't know why y'all can see some of the Nightbot messages and not some of the other ones. I have no clue. To be honest, I don't know. So don't get me to lie. Oh, maybe because I put the unfiltered. Right. Yeah, I think that we do okay. I know that it was a point in time with me and therapists we set up where and we'll do that again if we have to use this channel like that. I will set it up so YouTube caught most of the words for us. So we didn't have to worry about doing a lot of things because it would block the words just in case people made mistakes. So we may try that again. We may have to do that again or not. Okay, let me get to this thing in regards to this verdict. Jason asked me about the verdict, and y'all got me all off of that talking about a doggone Nightbot. Okay. Jason, if you still here, I am going to give you the verdict. I don't know. I'm sick of people, I think. in regards to this. I'm not happy about this. You're not, and they're not going to talk. So there we go. Okay. So David Kingsley, he was charged with murder, redrum in the second degree. He was found guilty. Manslaughter 1, he was found guilty. Matthew Gallagher, I think Gallagher, redrum in the second degree, not guilty. Manslaughter 1, not guilty. Gang assault, second, not guilty. Nicholas, murder, redrum in the second degree, not guilty. Manslaughter in the first degree, not guilty. Gang assault, second degree, not guilty. False instrument, not guilty. So 2 of them, Nicholas and Matthew, they both got off with nothing. So they get to go home. And David, he got found guilty of second degree redrum and manslaughter. So I don't know what to say about that, is what I can tell you. All I know is it made me want to put on my Breaking Bad shirt. And I don't know if y'all seen that video that I posted last night. With that case where the guy was just having a medical episode in Minnesota or Minneapolis. Is that down there where you at, Baca? Is that your neighborhood friendly police station? Are y'all neighbors? Because I want to know. That one had me in tears. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't go live. I couldn't do nothing. All I could do was get in the microphone and yell last night, I think. I don't know. You know what I would like to know, Marilda? Like, I would like to know which officers in the video they were. I know we tried to point out some of them as we were going through, but I just want to know how the ones that were not guilty. I want to know what they were, who they were. Oh, Northern Minnesota. Yeah, I think we just now hearing about it because of certain fact that they being sued for $120 million. And I don't know if y'all know the Sandra Massey case. That's another officer involved, pew-pewing, and that comes out. That's supposed to be a jury seated this week. I don't even know if I want to. I don't even know if I want to be bothered. Yeah, I believe that they were guilty or something. Like, that's why I said, please don't ever be coming to me about this Diddy and all this stuff, because he ain't did nothing to nobody. He got more time than these people that watch somebody be unalive. So I don't know. I think that's guilty in itself. So basically what you telling me is that that officiant of the law, right, can make up the stories, change everything, be scared, whatever the case may be, not do anything about it, and they getting paid to do this stuff, man. Y'all gotta miss me with that. Now I know that the Diddy situation is totally different, but we looking at these situations out here, like, I mean, really? Me, in my opinion. Now, you may not agree with my opinion in all different circumstances, but I just yeah. Yeah, because it is no way they, like, they should have got something. Even the gang one, I could have been okay with that. Because that's what y'all operated as. Y'all were a gang. So I don't know how the jury can't speak out, far as I'm concerned. They shouldn't speak out. I don't want them to speak out for their safety. I think that may be why they I don't think they really like did the jury like where we could see the jury verdict live. I think it was just courtroom action. So I mean, I'm gonna still look and see if we can find a video on it at some point in time. But yeah. Yeah, I'm like cool on that. Like, really, this is what we doing out here. Yeah, I don't know what they have in the SAPD, the San Antonio one, the one we got the copyright strike for. I'm not even sure where they're at with that one because I stopped following it. I was like, I'm cool. Like, I don't even have to follow it. But when we talk about the Macy case that's coming up, like, I'm like, I don't even know if I want to be bothered with it because it's just a disappointment. It's just a disappointment in all these cases from even last year when the young man who was just trying to get home and them cops, they were on video also. They all got to walk too. So I guess if you got a blue badge or you got a badge, you allowed to do this stuff out here, y'all. So I wonder, like, if the other officers didn't take plea deals, would some of them have walked? I think so. So there we go. I think so. I think they would have walked. Yeah, I think he probably did sue them silverly, but you said they big mad today. Yeah, I mean, and then some people, they just know they guilty of something, right? And maybe some of them took plea deals because of a certain fact they knew they were guilty of something. And sometimes your moral compass or that part kind of weighs on you. So you're guilty of something, right? And just to spare the family or spare people, you just go down for whatever. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to get us into opening statements for our one of our trials that we are going to be covering this week. And that is going to be the kidnapped children unalive trial. So we'll get into the opening statements for that one. As I stated, I think for our Folio trial, they are doing their jury selection, as far as I know. I know I told you I was going to do like a trial prep for that one. I still am going to do that trial prep. I was just trying to wait for this switch to flip on for our YouTube channel, our backup YouTube channel. Oh, the Nightbot says, can y'all see it? Y'all see what the Nightbot say? I don't even know what the Nightbot working. It says working in YouTube. Cause I see the little YouTube. Do y'all see what you can see what the Nightbot say? Is he telling you in chat what to do? The Nightbot out here working. The Nightbot out here working. The Nightbot say he got things to do, Baka. It ain't thinking about you and what you talk about. This Nightbot say he here to stay. He in here doing some things. Y'all said the Nightbot need to take a hike. Oh no, this Nightbot getting busy. I don't even know how this Nightbot got here. I don't know if I did it because I'm not there. I kept trying to do a Nightbot. You say it ain't even night. Go away. Okay. He got to do it at night. Y'all be bad during the daytime. Y'all kicking my Nightbot out. You see the Nightbot in new YouTube? Okay, that's where he's supposed to be in YouTube. He say he coming out here to party with y'all. I have no clue how he got here. I have no clue how I set him up. I did not do any of this over this weekend. All I did, like I said, I had this channel, but it wasn't named this. It was named something different, and I never really did all the steps to activate it. I had the channel because my original channel name for my when I was doing this was "I'm not a killer, but don't push me." But I was like, that might be too aggressive for YouTube. That was another one of my names that I wanted to use, but that may be a little too aggressive. Yeah, clear. I don't even know how this is set up. So I can't even figure out how to unstop it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. Like I said, I had it on a whole nother channel. Like, yeah. And so I changed the channel's name to, take it to trial unfiltered from "I'm not a killer, but don't push me," because I figured that if I name my channel that it'll probably get flagged all the time. Like OnlyFans name. And that's from Tupac's song. Like, that's all. Nothing more, nothing less. You will get sentenced. You are not allowed to unalive the Nightbot. The Nightbot is here to make people's job. Is it really coming through that bad? I ain't think about y'all. Okay, yeah, y'all be saying that until we be in the Ali trial, and y'all be having to be typing on every 5 minutes. I don't know, Rachel. How are ya? What did I do? How am I losing my mind? What did I do? What did I do? Oh my gosh. Rachel, you see my shirt? You see my shirt? Yeah, that's what baby love. You did? I know. I was telling them, so they even got this little tidy whities up in here. You got the mobile home. We got the little milk bottle. What else they got up in here? Oh, it look like it's just multiple. They got the sunglasses. They got the little bear that was found. Yeah, I think it's so cool. Such a cool shirt. Yes, I do love this shirt because I like to break bad like Walt, baby love, but I don't have to. I don't have to. Yeah, I can't do it. Yeah. Okay. Check films. Okay. To remove moderation, go to your YouTube site and navigate to community and remove Nightbot from the list. What, y'all don't want him to moderate? Oh my gosh. Like, why y'all acting like that towards my Nightbot? I don't know. I'm gonna have to consult with the therapist that I know, that you know, before I be removing this Nightbot. Y'all know eventually Barb will be over here and she will get confused between here and between here and Rumble. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good idea. Yeah, I have to talk to the therapist, and ask her if we should be removing the Nightbot. Here go the Nightbot again. Y'all must be doing something. See, it's sin. No speech, no hate speech or slurs, racism, sexism, homophobia. Oh gosh. Yeah, I must have been really feeling myself when I was doing this. I don't even know. I think they made up that stuff. Whatever. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get us into the courtroom so we don't get too far behind in regards to the opening statements and what we have going on with this case. Well, isn't he supposed to come in the night by all the time and remind the chat of all the good rules? I know y'all can't even use your emojis. We can't do nothing in here. This is like, we ain't doing nothing but streaming. Oh, y'all don't like being bossed around. Got it. Got it. Okay. Okay, let me get this up here for us to watch. See, be a sweet pea, not a sour patch. I don't know. I'm not. I can't figure it out today, y'all. I don't think, but I will at one point in time for y'all.
See the back door. It's down a hallway on the left side. Caitlin was sitting on the couch in front of the coffee table with Eloy on her lap. According to the defendant, after he tried and failed to take Eloy from Caitlin as she sat on the couch, he crossed the room and went to his desk. From his desk, he grabbed this, his Beretta 9mm semi-automatic pistol. That gun had a loaded magazine in it, but no bullet in the chamber. According to the defendant, after he grabbed the gun, he wrapped it in the slide back, putting a bullet in the chamber. The gun was now ready to fire. The defendant walked back across the room from his desk, around the coffee table, and stood in front of Caitlin to her left. He grabbed Eloy and gripped her from her mother's arms with his left arm, holding a pistol in his right. After grabbing Eloy, holding her in his left arm, he stepped back and pointed his gun at Caitlin's head. At this point, Caitlin was sitting on the couch alone. She was unarmed. The defendant stood between Caitlin and the exit. Eloy in one arm, gun in the other. At that time, Caitlin did not have a car. She did not have a bus ticket. Family was hours away. As Caitlin sat on that couch, holding Eloy in his arm, stepping back, the defendant pulled the trigger. He did not miss. He fired one bullet. That bullet entered Caitlin's skull from the left side of her head, traveled through her brain, and exited to the right side. The gunshot was loud. According to the defendant, Eloy immediately started grabbing her ear and complaining, "Noise." The defendant went to the garage and put her in the car. This is what the defendant told the detectives later about what he was thinking at that moment after shooting Caitlin in the head. He told them that he knew, in his words, that he was screwed. He understood what had happened, and he understood the consequences. He went back in the house. He got Balin, who was still in her car seat. He grabbed clothes for himself and for the girls. He grabbed food and water. He grabbed pillows and blankets. He put all of these things into his car. He grabbed his desktop computer. You see it there in the defendant's car. After packing up those supplies with both girls in the car, the defendant started to drive. The defendant left his apartment in Berlin sometime between 5:38 p.m. and 6 p.m. on February 29th. He drove to Concord, arriving a little bit before 9 p.m. In Concord, the defendant sent a video of the girls, his mother, and then he called his parents. At 10:08 p.m. in Concord, he called them and told them what he had done. He said, "I killed Caitlyn." He said, "You should probably call the police." He also said, "I'm going to go dark. I'm turning off my phone." He said he would turn himself in, but he wanted some time with the girls before he did it. At about 10:22 p.m., the defendant did turn off his phone. According to him, he drove west into New York State. At some point, he stopped. He and the girls slept in the car in the backseat. According to the defendant, when he woke up the next morning, he decided to turn himself in. So he started driving back to New Hampshire. As the defendant drove through Keene, morning of March 1st, decided to have breakfast somewhere with his girls. While driving, he was seen and he was placed under arrest. The murder weapon, a 9mm Beretta semi-automatic pistol, story. Defendant spoke with the state police at length. That interview was audio and video recorded. You will be able to see it for yourselves. You will be able to see the defendant's body language, his demeanor, and his tone of voice. You will see that the defendant was calm and in control when he described killing CaitlynNaffziger. I've already shown you a few of the things that he said during that interview. You will see those and more presented during this trial. Those statements are just some of the evidence that will prove the defendant is guilty. Caitlyn is dead. She is dead because the defendant became angry. She refused to leave his apartment. She is dead because she would not stop holding her 4-year-old daughter. And that made the defendant mad. So he grabbed his gun, took Caitlyn's daughter away from her, and shot her in the head. After you've heard all the evidence in this case, it will be up to you, the jury, to deliberate and deliver a verdict. When that time comes, when you have had all of the evidence placed in front of you, you will know beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant is guilty. You will know that the defendant murdered CaitlynNaffziger. Just like the defendant knew from the moment that he fired his gun, you will know that he's guilty. Certainly.
This case is about broken promises, secret plans, and a father's unyielding love. It's about a Marine reacting to a threat toward his beloved daughter. A horrific tragedy, but not a criminal offense. Dustin Duren is not guilty. Dustin, a Marine veteran, responded to a threat when he shot Caitlyn one time. He saw his daughter being held hostage in front of him. He believed his daughter was in danger of being hurt, in danger of being a pawn in a custody dispute, in danger of being taken away from him, in danger of being kidnapped. The law allows for deadly force to be used against another in certain circumstances. The law says Dustin's actions were justified. He's not guilty of murder. He is not guilty of reckless conduct. He is not guilty of endangering the welfare of a child. You will hear that Caitlyn agreed with a plan to let Dustin take their daughter, Earl, New Hampshire, from Minnesota, and that she would follow later with their younger daughter, Valen. You will hear that she later changed her mind, but did not tell Dustin. Instead, she flew to Boston with their 1-year-old Valen, and then planned with her aunt to take Elwin and Valen from their father in the middle of the night while he was sleeping. To carry out the secret plan, Caitlyn and Valen went to Berlin, stayed the night at Dustin's, and then ignored Dustin's requests for her to leave. Dustin decided he would need to bring Caitlyn back to the seacoast where her aunt lived. And when he tried to get the kids ready to leave, Caitlyn told Dustin no, she was not leaving. She demanded Dustin pay her more money. She threatened Dustin she was going to call the police and lie to them, accusing him of kidnapping Elwin. She told Dustin she was taking the kids back to Minnesota and he would never see them again. While making these threats, Caitlyn remained seated on the couch, holding on to Elwin. She would not let go of Elwin when Dustin tried to free her. She gripped Elwin. She tugged Elwin. She bear hugged Elwin. Elwin was being held hostage right in front of Dustin. Dustin did not want to hurt Elwin. She was crying. He was worried she was being hurt. On the third attempt to free Elwin from Caitlyn's grip, Elwin let out a shriek. This was a startling and terrifying reaction that caused something in Dustin to tick. In his fear for Elwin and his need to protect her, he walked a couple feet over to his desk, got his gun, chambered around, pulled Elwin to safety, and fired one round into Caitlyn's head. Dustin Duren defended his daughter. He is not guilty. You will hear that evidence through the state's case and through the defense's case. But now I want to talk to you about Dustin. Dustin is a father and he is a Marine. These two things shape his identity and his decision making. Dustin enlisted with the Marines when he was 18 years old. He received extensive training in firearms. He was drilled with firearms, expected to be able to assemble, load, aim, and shoot a firearm quickly, automatically, without conscious thought. Use of a firearm became automatic and instinctual to him, something that he could do quickly, accurately, and without forethought. He was trained to use a firearm to respond to threats. You will hear that Dustin was the most proficient shooter in boot camp and the squadron high shooter during annual marksmanship training. He became a certified marksmanship coach and taught hundreds of Marines how to perfect their shooting. You will also hear that Dustin had been diagnosed with service-connected PTSD and has suffered bouts of depression in the past. Before meeting Caitlin in 2019, Dustin felt like his life was meaningless. He had no real purpose, no real reason to live. But shortly after beginning a relationship with Caitlin, she became pregnant with their first child. Dustin's mental health began to improve. He was beginning to believe he had a purpose, having a family. He and Caitlin lived together at his parents' home. Soon after Elwyn was born, they moved to Las Vegas and lived there together. Dustin was Elwyn's primary caretaker. He and Elwyn were bonded. At her very first Christmas, Caitlin flew home to Minnesota, leaving Dustin and their 1-year-old Elwyn behind. You will hear that Dustin's memory of that Christmas burns bright to this day. Dustin was feeling awful about the meager Christmas he could only provide for his daughter, but her pure joy that day shifted his whole mindset. He saw her big smile and her joy, and it was a pivotal moment in his life. He thought, this is my purpose. This is my life. Elwyn. From that moment, it was like the whole world had changed. Dustin's view on everything had changed. His entire life turned to Elwyn. The two were bonded. Eventually, Caitlin became pregnant with her second child, Valen. She was born in Las Vegas in January of 2023. By July of 2023, Dustin and Caitlin separated, and all four returned to Minnesota. Dustin moved back in with his parents. Caitlin moved in with a friend. For several months, they tried co-parenting. After a few months of this arrangement, Dustin and Caitlin came to a compromise in which they would both move to New Hampshire, but live separately. They decided that Dustin would travel by car to New Hampshire first, taking Elwyn with him, and then Caitlin would fly out later with 1-year-old Valen and leave her with Dustin. Caitlin would then return to Minnesota for a few months to work and save some money, and then move to New Hampshire permanently in the early summer when she would have seasonal employment with her Aunt Brenda in Hampton. Dustin prepared for the trip to New Hampshire. He found an apartment in Berlin and showed Caitlin photos of the apartment. Caitlin gave Dustin a bunch of Elwyn and Valen's stuff to take with him. The day Dustin left, he picked Elwyn up from where Caitlin lived at her friend's house, and Caitlin willingly handed over Elwyn. Caitlin did not call the police. She did not report a kidnapping. She agreed to this plan. On their trip east, Dustin called and texted Caitlin several times with updates. He sent pictures of Elwyn. After Dustin got to New Hampshire, he and Caitlin had several arguments over the phone about money. Caitlin wanted to claim both girls on their taxes and wanted Dustin to send her money. Caitlin threatened to call the police and falsely claim that Dustin had kidnapped Elwyn and had taken her to New Hampshire without Caitlin's permission. Dustin was worried that Caitlin wouldn't bring Valen and that the girls would be separated. You will hear that when Caitlin made this threat a few weeks before this incident, Dustin was alarmed. He called Caitlin's mother. He called Caitlin's father. He called the Berlin Police Department. He offered to let Caitlin claim both girls on their taxes, paid for her plane ticket to New Hampshire, and sent her some money. 2 weeks later, Caitlin and Valen did fly to Boston, as planned, on the 27th of February. Dustin knew when they would arrive in Boston, but no other details, because Caitlin did not share those. He did not know how Caitlin and Valen were getting to Berlin or when. He did not know if Caitlin planned on staying in Berlin or where she would stay. He assumed she wanted to stay a couple days in Berlin to visit with Elwyn and offered for her to stay with him and the girls, but Caitlin declined this invitation. Caitlin had other plans. Secret plans she did not share with Dustin. You will hear about the plan that Caitlin created with her Aunt Brenda. Brenda will tell you that she lives in Hampton. She spoke to Caitlin about her visit to New Hampshire. She will tell you that Caitlin and Valen flew into Boston and shuttled to Seabrook, where Brenda and her friend picked them up. Brenda will tell you that Caitlin and Valen spent the night in Hampton, and while there, Brenda and Caitlin came up with a plan to take the kids from Dustin.
Objection. Approach.
And he found a restaurant. Ate a day. Brenda. While Caitlin was visiting with her Aunt Brenda the night before she met Dustin, Brenda and Caitlin came up with a plan to take the kids from Dustin. Brenda will tell you that she agreed to bring Caitlin and Valen to meet up with Dustin and Ellen, drop them off, and wait a day or two for Caitlin to call her for a ride back with both of the girls. Caitlin would sneak the two kids out while Dustin was sleeping, and Brenda would pick them up and take Caitlin and her kids to the airport to fly back to Minnesota. Caitlin already had a return ticket to Minnesota, and Brenda was going to buy a ticket for Ellen. And Valen was young enough that she could sit on her mom's lap. You will hear that when Caitlin texted Dustin that Brenda was driving her up, Dustin suggested they meet up at a spot halfway between Hampton and Berlin. And he found a restaurant in Ossipee. Dustin believed that Caitlin and Brenda would have a meal with him and the girls, and then Caitlin and Brenda would return to Hampton, while Dustin and the girls would head north to Berlin. The next day, Dustin and Ellen drove to Ossipee and got to the restaurant first, where they waited inside the restaurant, waiting for Caitlin and Valen. When Caitlin arrived, she called Dustin, asking him to come outside and help with Valen's things. Dustin and Ellen went outside to meet Caitlin and Valen. Brenda was already gone. They put Valen's stuff in the car, and the four of them, Ellen, Valen, Dustin, and Caitlin, went into the restaurant to eat. Dustin and Caitlin did not have any real conversation. Dustin visited with Valen, Caitlin with Ellen. Caitlin started asking Ellen if she could come see Ellen's new house. Dustin was confused, since Caitlin had said she did not want to stay with them. Caitlin did not speak directly with Dustin, instead saying things to Ellen for Dustin to overhear. Dustin agreed that Caitlin could spend a night. And so after dinner, all four of them got into Dustin's car, drove back to Berlin. Caitlin sat in the back seat with the girls. That night, Dustin slept in his bed with Valen, and Caitlin and Ellen slept on an air mattress between the bedroom and the living room. The next day, they all went to the Berlin Library for children's story time and arts and crafts. They came home and had lunch. Caitlin spent the afternoon playing with the girls and not speaking to Dustin. Dustin tried to ask Caitlin what her plan was when she was leaving, but Caitlin would not answer him. Dustin continued to ask, and Caitlin continued to ignore her all afternoon. Caitlin played with Ellen and Balin in Ellen's bedroom, and every so often, Dustin would go to the doorway of the room and ask Caitlin when and how she was leaving. Caitlin did not respond. At one point, she picked up her phone and started using it. Dustin didn't know if Caitlin was messaging someone. Her silence was telling. Dustin was suspicious. Caitlin's behavior concerned him. Something was off. Eventually, once it started to get dark, Dustin told Caitlin that since she wasn't responding, he was going to drive her all the way back to Hampton. And he told Caitlin it was time to leave. Dustin was stressed because it was a long drive, and by the time he dropped Caitlin off in Hampton and then drove all the way back to Berlin with the girls would have been up all night. Caitlin sat down on the couch. Dustin put Balin in a car seat instead of the hallway floor. He went back into the living room and saw Caitlin go over and pick up Ellen and return to the couch and sat Ellen on her lap. Ellen straddled Caitlin's knee. Dustin told Caitlin, "Come on, we're leaving," and tried to take Ellen to get her ready to go. Caitlin tugged Ellen tightly and pulled her back, wrapping her arms around Dustin's daughter in a bear hug. Dustin let go and asked Caitlin to let go of Ellen, and Caitlin said no. Dustin kept asking Caitlin to let go of Ellen and get ready to leave. Caitlin started demanding Dustin pay child support, give her $2,000 per month. Caitlin told Dustin she was going to take Ellen and Balin back to Minnesota and Dustin would never see them again. Caitlin again threatened Dustin that she was call the cops and tell them Dustin had taken Ellen without permission. Caitlin was still holding on to Ellen, her arms wrapped tightly around Ellen, restraining her. Caitlin told Dustin again that he would never see his kids. Dustin felt like Caitlin was holding Ellen hostage. He was seeing his daughter held hostage in front of his eyes. He kept begging Caitlin to let go of Ellen and to just get ready to leave. Caitlin refused and kept saying she was taking the kids and he would never see them again. At this point, Balin was crying. Ellen was upset and crying. The situation was overwhelming. Dustin tried again to free Ellen, but Caitlin yanked her away again. Dustin didn't want to force anything, so he just let Ellen go. He tried again to persuade Caitlin to let go of Ellen, and she refused. She continued to threaten Dustin. Dustin didn't know who Caitlin had been messaging on her phone, whether there was someone outside waiting. He was suspicious. He was concerned. He was fearful. Dustin could see his gun on the desk in the living room in close proximity to Caitlin. Dustin knew that Caitlin knew how to use the gun. He himself taught her how to handle and shoot a gun. He couldn't take his eyes off Caitlin and Ellen while Caitlin was holding Ellen hostage right next to a firearm. Dustin tried one more time to take Ellen. Tried to hold one of Caitlin's wrists while wrapping his arm behind Ellen so that he could free Ellen from Caitlin's bear hug. Caitlin did not let go and instead got more aggressive. She braced her foot against the living room table and pulled back hard. Ellen screamed, a piercing cry like she was in pain. Immediately, everything felt extremely dire to Dustin, like Ellen was in immediate danger. Hearing Ellen scream was like a tick. The only thing he was thinking is that he had to save Ellen. In an autonomous motion, like he had been trained by the military, he grabbed his gun. He had no thoughts in his head other than he needed to save Ellen. He acted instinctually, automatically, and reflexively. In less than 3 seconds, He grabbed the gun, pulled Ellen out of the way, and eliminated the threat, shooting Caitlin in the head. Ellen was safe in Dustin's arms. He is a Marine. He acts like a Marine. He did what a Marine is trained to do. Dustin saved Ellen. Dustin took the girls and left the apartment in his Subaru. He needed to make sure the girls were okay and to get out of that apartment. He didn't want Ellen to see anything. After driving south for about 2 hours, he stopped for gas in Concord. He called his mom and told her he shot Caitlin. He asked for his dad to call the police. He also sent them a video of the girls in the car at that moment to show them the girls were safe. He said he was going to spend a few more hours with the girls before he turned himself in. And that's what he did. He spent a few more hours driving with, talking with the girls, making sure they were okay, making sure they knew he loved them before turning around and driving back to New Hampshire. He planned to get breakfast with the girls before he turned himself in, but the police located him before he was able to do so. And you will see Dustin's arrest on video. You will see how he complied with the police commands, how he warned the police there were kids in the car, how he warned them there was a gun in the driver's side door. And he then gave a lengthy interview to the police. The state will probably show you Dustin's interview and what he told them after his arrest. This is a case about broken promises, secret plans, and a father's unyielding love. It's about a Marine reacting to a threat toward his beloved daughter, a horrific tragedy, but not a criminal offense. Dustin is not guilty. At the end of the evidence, the judge will instruct you on the law, and he may explain to you that what the law allows when defending others. He may instruct you that a person is justified in using deadly force against another when he reasonably believes that such person is committing or about to commit a kidnapping, is likely to use any unlawful force against the person present while committing or attempting to commit a burglary, or is likely to use any unlawful force in the commission of a felony against the actor within his own dwelling or home. When he shot Caitlin, Dustin reasonably believed that Caitlin was about to kidnap Ellen and that Caitlin was using unlawful force to commit a crime. She was holding Ellen hostage in front of him, threatening that she would take his kids to Minnesota and he would never see them again. Caitlin would rather hurt Ellen than let her go. And when Caitlin hurt Ellen, Dustin acted to save her. Dustin's entire life purpose was to be a good father for Ellen and Balin, and he did what he believed was necessary to protect Ellen. The judge may instruct you. You cannot convict Dustin unless the state proves to you not only that Dustin killed Caitlin, but that he did so without justification. You must find Dustin not guilty unless you are convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that Dustin did not act to defend his daughter and prevent kidnapping. The state will not meet its burden. Dustin was justified under the law. He acted to protect his daughter. After hearing all the evidence, we are confident you will find him not guilty.
Great, thank you. All right, members of the jury, as I said, we typically take a mid-morning break and a lunch break and a mid-afternoon break before we start with the first witness. I think it's appropriate right now to take a mid-morning break. I'm going to instruct you on several matters right now before we take our first break. First of all, as you heard me say before, you are not allowed to discuss any aspect of the case or any aspect of the evidence amongst yourselves until we get to the conclusion of the trial, until we finally get to deliberations. So it's extremely important that you not do that, and I instruct you not to do that. Further, I instruct you that if you do hear of anybody among your jurors, that if you overhear two jurors talking about the case, I instruct you to please tell one of the court security officers about that. That's something very important that you not do. Talk about it. So if one of you does hear two others talking about it, that needs to be informed to a bailiff as well. And as you can see, there is some members of the media here. As I said to you last time during jury selection, I'm advising you to pay no attention to any news reports whatsoever with respect to any aspect of the trial. And I also, because of modern social media, I'm further instructing you not to communicate with anyone about anything that's happening during the course of the trial. You'll hear me make these instructions to you many times over the course of the trial, but it's my duty just to do so. I have no doubt that you will follow my instructions. So again, please do not discuss the case, and we'll get started in about 10 or 15 minutes. It's 10:33, so we'll try to get started right at by 10:50. And so with that, we'll take our first break. Okay, thank you.
I guess the one good thing about all of this is that he's going to have to testify. So we're going to be able to look forward to seeing him testify on his. I don't know how he got this far in regards to self-defense. But y'all know we got our good old TiVo time, so I will take us TiVo past this break. But yeah, I don't know how he gets off with self-defense. I seen therapists had put in there, I guess he went some kind of PTSD. It'll be interesting.
A 45-degree angle towards the jury box, which has been provided by the state. There's also a smaller monitor, which is directed towards the gallery. There's also a monitor on defense counsel table and also a monitor at the judge's bench up here. So a total of 4 monitors that have been outlaid around the courtroom. I've indicated to defense counsel that if at any point that their monitor ceases to work, to let me know immediately, and we will adjust as necessary with respect to that matter. And I will try to keep my eye out open for it, but in case anything does change, in case the layout does change during the course of the trial, please let me know, just so that I can adequately reflect for purposes of the record the layout of the open. Any comments in response to my comments, counsel?
No, just have 1 second.
Certainly.
Oh, good. Here we go. That's it.
All set? Okay.
So I got a quick question, guys. I just seen something come through a news feed where they I guess they may be showing the verdict. I'm not sure exactly. It's like 24 minutes long. Do y'all want to watch that before we start with the first witnesses in this case, or do y'all want me to wait? And this is in the Marcy CO trial. Because I just read to y'all what I got off the tweets, and I was just trying to wait. Therapists had found me some video footage, and then I also see something come through my timeline. So, okay. So we'll look at the verdict, and I guess it's the verdict. I hope it's the verdict. Shoot, I just seen something come through my timeline. I said, oh, okay, well, maybe this is it. Okay, so we'll look at the verdict on here, or see what they're talking about right here, this whole mess.
Also absolutely understand do not have to do so. We welcome this to go back to the office. And I think they should do so with defense in this court. Your discharge.
Please be seated.
All right, so in the matter of the legal against Kingsley, the jury having returned verdicts of guilty, Kingsley failed hereby being revoked, and that will be scheduled for sentencing now on December 16th at 9:30 a.m. Between now and then, Kingsley probation will be up to jail to speak with you for further pre-sentence investigation. I will rely on that in part in determining the appropriate sentence in the case, so we make sure you are cooperative with it. With respect to the remaining defendants, then acquitted, you're about discharged and free to go. So you think from my perspective? Anyone have anything else? Thank you.
Thank you guys. It's nice to see you guys. Take care.
I respect the jury's verdict. obviously, the two gentlemen that were acquitted, I felt differently, but I respect the jury's verdict. And now we'll see what the United States Attorney does with them.
You described the three of them as defendants as part of a violent gang, a welcoming committee, and now to see two of them acquitted, one of them, David Kingsley, who was convicted on both of those counts.
Right.
What, do you feel some level of justice has been served here?
We went into this case with the idea immediately that 4 people had to be held accountable for Robert's death. All 4 of them will now be serving lengthy prison sentences. That's Mr. Farina, Mr. Kingsley, Mr. Anzalone, and Mr. Walt. When we looked at the tape for the first time, those were the individuals. We offered the 2 gentlemen that were acquitted lesser charges. They felt that they were not going to plead to anything. And at this point, they've been successful.
Where do you think your prosecution's case wasn't successful on those 2 defendants?
I have 0 regrets about the prosecution's case. I had an incredible team. State police were fantastic in investigating the case. There's a single thing I could have presented to that jury to make them to make it more clear about the involvement of the 2 defendants. They disagreed, and that's life.
You're looking at 7 out of 10 guilty pleas. I mean, taking a step back, is that, is that satisfying to you?
What I'm most gratified about is the intensity that my team put into the case, while, I might say, running a completely separate office west of here. I'm very proud of them. Very proud of the state police and the job that they did. But you had 2 very good lawyers, actually 4 very good lawyers that represented these 2 gentlemen, and they worked hard, they worked fairly, they worked ethically, and the jury spoke, and I have 0 criticism of the jury's verdict.
Will you appeal?
I would love to, but since 1783, we have been unable to appeal a acquittal. But it's not the end for Mr. Gallagher and Mr. Anzalone, and I don't mean to throw gas on the fire, but the United States Attorney for the Western District is investigating this case, and they will proceed.
What tone does this set for the mid-state COs?
I'm sorry?
What tone does this set now for the mid-state COs?
For the which COs? The
Mid-state.
The Nantweek.
Oh, you're talking about Messiah and Nancy? I don't think it has any effect on that. That's a separate case. Some people may be emboldened by the 2 acquittals. Some people may feel that with the murder verdict against Mr. Kingsley, they might want to reconsider their position. But that's up to them.
You have an amazing track record of guilty convictions. What does this do for your body of work?
I hope people look at the amount of effort I put into the case and appreciate it, and remind people that, in addition to Mr. Kingsley, we have received substantial pleas on a multiple number of other people. When this case started, I knew a lot of people thought that this would be resolved by a bunch of resignations and official misconducts and probations. It didn't turn out that way.
Last question for me. What should the prison system take away from what you've learned, what you've discovered?
The governor has had a number of conversations with me. I don't purport to be an expert on penal law, running a penal system, but there's some things here that are obvious that need to be changed, and she's indicated a willingness, at least to me, to address those, and I think she will.
Do you have 1 or 2?
Well, there's got to be, in my judgment, there needs to be a specialized bureau within the Attorney General's office that deals with all assaults in prison, not just on inmates, but on corrections officers as well.
Thank you, Bill.
Do you think any of the language in these laws, these charges should change?
There needs to be a specific statute that deals with duty of care regarding a corrections officer. I thought I made it clear in this case that was such a
All right, as you can see there, we have a mixed verdict here. We have one of the corrections officers guilty of murder, the other two.
So there we have it. I mean, whatever. I just showed it so y'all could see exactly what it was. But I'm gonna go ahead and go back to our trial. I just really don't yeah, I'm trying to take my Breaking Bad energy through my shirt. So when I heard about it earlier, I was like, okay, let me get my attitude together. I don't know if they talk. Let me see if they talk after this film. Oh, they look like they gonna talk. Wait a minute. I wonder why they went to the courtroom for a fee. Let me show it back. Let me get it back. Get y'all back to it because it looked like these people that are acquitted. They are talking. So I don't know. They don't handcuff nobody. They don't do nothing. Like I'm irritated with the whole situation. So yeah, there's that for me. Here we go. Let me show y'all because I see one of them got to the microphone. We may have to go back and look at the video footage and see who was who again.
Was in the hallway there waiting for more reaction. There's about now pouring out of the courtroom. This verdict came down, I would say, about 15 minutes ago. This was entering its third week, this trial. This was the fourth day of deliberations. And now it looks like some of the defense lawyers are now coming out. Let's check back in.
I'm very appreciative of how the jury was and how they actually took their time to do their job and everything. But I do want to show my remorse for the family. What happened to them was not something that a family should go through. I just am very appreciative of what the jury did and how they were able to deliberate and find me not guilty.
You've had your family here all along. What's that support been like?
That's the most amazing support. Just because they're in the courtroom doesn't mean they're not supporting me. I've got hundreds of people supporting me, and I'm so appreciative of them. And I had to keep my faith this whole time.
What did it feel like being in there as the verdict was being read out?
As you can see, it was a very emotional part of my life, and I just want to get past it now.
What's next for you?
Going home and hug my family. That's the first thing I'm going to do.
Is this what you were expecting as an outcome?
There was no expectation out of this. It was up to them, and I can't see what's in their minds.
How have you gotten through this?
Support my family, that's it. Family, friends, and everything else.
Mr. Fitzpatrick mentioned the possibility of federal jeopardy. The Western District, is this something that they've reached out to either of you about?
I have reached out on behalf of Mr. Kiefer with respect to the federal, potential federal prosecution. I hope that they have paid attention to what this jury had decided. I think the jury spent, a solid 2.5, 3 days deliberating on this matter, and they reached the proper conclusion. Mr. Kiefer has maintained his innocence right from day one, and his story has not changed at all. When I first met with Mr. Kiefer day one, the first thing he said to me is, "How do you feel so terrible for the Brooks family? This is a tragedy." However, Mr. Kiefer did not participate in Mr. Brooks's death.
You got an acquittal without calling a single witness. The defense all the way through not calling a single witness. How does that? What do you want us to ascertain from that?
Well, we've maintained all along that the evidence that the special prosecutor had, his whole office was fantastic. They disclosed every ounce of evidence they had. We have been able to scrutinize that evidence very, very closely. And when we reviewed the videos when they were first released to the public, it clearly showed that Mr. Kiefer was not an active participant in this. There was certainly some non-compliance by the late Mr. Brooks. My client acted appropriately under policy and procedure. And then, as we said in our opening and our closing, after that minimum application of pepper spray, there was not one finger laid on Mr. Brooks again. We did enter in and out of that treatment room for seconds, merely seconds, but he did not touch Mr. Brooks at all. He never would have touched me. He wouldn't touch any inmate inappropriately. He's never done that. Everybody has heard the testimony loud and clear of the sergeant, Glenn Trombley, who said in the 10 years that he has worked with Mr. Kiefer, he has never seen Mr. Kiefer get angry. And if there was any application of pepper spray used, there had to be a good reason for it. And I think the jury found that out.
Do you feel judged at all by the public? Has your life been?
Yes, my life was turned upside down from this, 100%.
Members of the public have spoken to you in the store, in life?
Honestly, not really. I've just, I don't know how to answer that, I'm going to be honest.
Do you have any comment on your peers' verdict of guilty for Mr. Kiefer?
No comment.
No, neither do I. No comment on Mr. Kingsley. I do think that it's a contradictory verdict, given the states of mind that you need for both those charges, but that would be for his attorneys to evaluate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you think the video helped or hurt your case in this situation?
From day one, I've always maintained the position, and as my client, that the videos actually vindicate my client. We are sorry we didn't have the videos from the time Mr. Brooks first arrived at the Marcy Correctional Facility, because then the whole story would have been on video. But the portions of the video that we did receive certainly vindicated my client, and we felt that was a big part of our defense, which is why we went through methodically with the jury, playing all the different segments and sections. Thank you.
What does this case mean for the Corrections Department? The indictment, it alleged a gang conspiracy in a welcoming committee. What does this verdict say about the job of the Corrections Department?
I can't speak for corrections anymore, so.
That is non-existent. That is non-existent in the Marcy Correctional Facility. There is no welcoming committee. As you've heard through the testimony, the COs, they work, so the shifts are so different. It's not a Monday through Friday 9 to 5 job. They'll be working 18 hours on a Monday, 18 hours on a Wednesday. They won't work Thursday. They're working 8 hours on a Friday. They're always working with different people. There is no gang mentality. I say that with the utmost respect, because the special prosecutor obviously laid out a fantastic case. We've been sitting on pins and needles.
Sergeant Trombley seemed to trash some of the system, and I just wonder, from your firsthand knowledge, is there anything you'd change about the system as someone that worked there?
Unfortunately, I don't think my client is in a position where he can change it. I think that's going to start from the top on the way down. I think
I don't know, advocacy from the bottom can change things.
It's possible. You're right, and I don't mean to discount that, but I think the powers to be, the higher ranking politicians, starting from the governor on the way down, have to do a very serious study within the Department of Corrections, and that's where the change is going to have to start, I believe.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Again, that was Nicholas Kiefer, one of the defendants, found not guilty today in 09. Be on the lookout for. Actually, let's go back out to the courthouse now, where another lawyer is now
pushing to the brink of bankruptcy. Docs owes him an apology for putting him in this situation, for failing to train, supervise, and provide leadership in that organization. He wouldn't be here without that.
How's he doing with this verdict?
Heading straight home to his family. That's all he cares about.
How has he gotten through this? It's been a tough time, I imagine.
He sucked it up. That's what he did. And he said, I'm going to go through it. In my heart, I know he didn't do anything wrong. And I'll accept whatever verdict comes from the jury.
You did this, you got this acquittal with not calling a single witness. Do you have any comment on just your strategy there and what it's led to?
The case should never have been brought. The video didn't support the charges against him. The witnesses didn't support the charges against him. He should never have been charged with any offenses whatsoever.
Mr. Kiefer said, his lawyer said that the video actually, he believes, vindicated his client. Do you believe the same?
Absolutely. Without the video and the testimony of Trombley and the other Kessler, he could have been convicted.
None of the officers, until their guilty pleas, or we heard from Nicholas Kiefer, have expressed sorrow for the victim. I just wonder what your team would say about Robert Brooks' death.
Robert Brooks' death was caused by officers who lost it. They were undertrained, poorly supervised, and they work in an environment that's terrible. No excuse for what they did. And we have complete sympathy for Mr. Brooks. I'm a civil rights lawyer. That's what I do. I sue docs. And I took this case because of what I when I saw the video and when I talked to Matt Gallagher.
You said the prosecution charged them all and cited that the jury carried them out. Do you feel that these verdicts reflect that?
I don't know. All I can say is with Matt Gallagher, he should never have been charged. They should have used their discretion not to charge him.
Does he feel convicted by the public, so to speak? Is the opinions about, is his reputation ruined? Has he suffered from comments from the public these many months?
I'll repeat, he's a man of integrity. He's a man of faith. He knew he didn't do anything wrong, and he was ready to face a jury. He didn't want to, shouldn't have had to, but he was ready to face it.
Say the governor calls you tomorrow looking for an opinion on what docs should change. What are your diagnoses?
I got 2 pages. 2 pages of how they should change, from both the civil rights perspective and from representing Matthew Gallagher.
Are you concerned about action by the Western District of New York and their federal investigation?
We're always concerned about other jurisdictions. We're not going to accept any plea from them. If they reach out to us, if they want to charge them, we'll deal with it. I don't think they should. I'm hopeful that they learn from the sweeping verdict in Matt's favor not to bring any type of criminal charges against Matt.
Thank you.
Okay, guys.
Hang on. Sorry. You want us listening to you all day?
No, I would-
I think you do. Thank you.
Let's just set up for a shot.
All right. We've been listening to some of the interviews there after the jury's been handed down. That was Matthew Gallagher's lawyer. We did not hear from Mr. Gallagher himself. We did hear from Nicholas.
Banner so I can see who's who, so I can understand. So I'm assuming I can't figure out who's who again. Shoot. I bet you this the one that got found guilty of everything. Right here. Yeah, this I bet you this is the guy. I'm not sure. I bet you he's the one that got found guilty of everything. I don't know. I don't like New York. No, not today, right now. And I love their pizza now. But I just don't like this system. I don't know. This is all the way around troubling. You say far left was the one guilty, was the one I was circling on, Baca? See, therapist, you was trying to say a bad word. It said Nightbot came in right after you. It said caution. You used them word fillers. Oh, Nightbot is on his job. On his job. Yeah, well, clearly, like, I'm really like disappointed in this whole entire verdict. That's what I will say. When any of these cases come, it's just so iffy. That's why I said even the one that we tried to cover with the SAPD, the San Antonio Police Department, you know, they probably gonna get off, right? We seen officers last year that got off. The Macy trial, you know, that's another mental health trial, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me. They gonna probably get off. You know, I just posted a video of the guy last night who was having a medical emergency, no fault of his own, and instead of the police officers doing their job, you know, he ended up passing away. Now, with that being said, like, who's going to take responsibility and accountability for that action? I don't know if any charges have been filed for anybody, but I think charges should be filed. Like, that was very neglectful. But, you know, if it was, you know, you and it's sad to say, like, they almost care about, I don't know. I'm just going to shut up because I'm going to say something that people not going to like. All right, I'm going to put us back in this thing. I'm going to break bad through my shirt. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but they people just like us, right? I don't know. That's why I say they giving way too much power. All right, let's see who our first witness is today. that's coming up here to the stand.
All right, thank you. Please be seated. Sir, can you raise your hand? You swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, nothing but the truth, and nothing but the perjury? I do. Thank you. Please have a seat. Sir, can you please introduce yourself and spell your last name? Sure.
Absolutely. My name is Eric Benjamin, EricBenjamin.
Sir, where do you work?
I work for the Berlin Police Department.
How long have you worked there?
I've worked there about 10 years now.
What is your current rank with Berlin PD?
I'm a detective sergeant.
In addition to your regular duties as a detective sergeant, are you also a member of something called the emergency response team?
I am.
Please tell the jury, what is the emergency response team?
The emergency response team is a group of officers who respond to high-risk situations which require additional training, equipment, and tactics to handle the situation appropriately.
And Detective Sergeant, would it be fair to say the emergency response team that you're part of handles incidents like the one you described in the Berlin area and surrounding areas of kind of in the northern part of the state?
Yes,
Do you have any role within the emergency response team?
I do.
What is that?
I am the team leader.
Detective Sergeant, on February 29th, 2024, were you on duty as a police officer that day?
I was not.
Nevertheless, did you receive some information related to an activation of the emergency response team that day?
I did.
At that time.
I received the first call around 11 p.m.
Is that standard that even if you're not on shift as a police officer that you can be called for emergency response team issues?
Yes,
Who was that phone call from?
that was from Sergeant Dennis Gale.
And what information did you receive?
The initial information I received was that there was a situation at a residence in Berlin in which the information known at that time was there was a male that had contacted his father stating that he had just killed his girlfriend.
Did that information include anything about children?
It did. There were two children that were allegedly with the male at the time, and their whereabouts were unknown.
As a result of receiving that information, what did you do?
Our team was activated as part of my role as the team leader. I spoke directly with our commander of the team, and we activated to the Berlin Police Department, where we set up an an immediate action team.
When you got to the Berlin PD and set up an action team, what did you do?
We responded to a separate location near the residence where we met other personnel from the team.
When you did that, were you dressed in your normal police uniform?
I was not.
What were you wearing?
Due to the nature of the call and as well as the emergency response team's roles, we were wearing body armor, helmets, rifles, the appropriate response for that type of call.
Is that standard for emergency response team operation?
It is.
Did you, so you mentioned that you went to a location near the apartment that was involved, is that right?
Correct.
How did you get there?
We assembled in the Bearcat.
Just generally, can you tell jury, what is a Bearcat?
You know, the Bearcat is a piece of armored vehicle that we respond with our team in.
So what particular location are we focused on? What it's called?
The residence we were focused on was 1063 Main Street in Berlin.
And did you get the name of the male involved who you mentioned that had called his father?
I did.
What was the name you got?
Dustin Duren.
How many members did you gather for your team?
Initially, there were 4 of us and a medic.
So you mentioned you went to the area nearby 1063 Main Street in Berlin.
Yes.
Could you describe that area of Berlin where 1063 Main Street is?
It's right along Main Street. It's a residential area, multiple houses, couple businesses near there, as well as a community park.
This time I move to introduce States Exhibits 1, 2, 3A, 3B, 3C by agreement.
Okay.
The ID may be stricter than each shall be considered full exhibits.
Thank you, Sergeant. Can we see the screen over there?
Yes.
You need to get up and move this.
Okay.
So we're talking about 1063 Main Street. What do you see here?
Oh, I'm not
Yes,
just.
So this is States Exhibit 1. Please tell us what you see there.
That's an overview of the city.
And that's the city of Berlin, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
See down in the lower right corner, you see a marking for 1063.
I do.
And is that an accurate representation of where 1063 Main Street is?
Yes.
And then you see some other markings there for the City Hall and the library. Are those accurate as well?
Yes.
Are those generally in the downtown area in the center of the photo?
Yes.
And if you want to approach the screen, I believe you can do that. And then up in the left, you see a red circle with a white cane. Can you point that out for the jury?
Yes, right here.
Yeah. What is at that location?
That's a Circle K gas station.
And is there a bus stop at the Circle K gas station?
Yes, there is.
And what sort of buses service that bus station?
That's the Concord Railways.
Okay. Thank you. And I'll keep you up here so I'm showing up and down. We're showing you States Exhibit 2. What is this?
That's a closer view near 1063 Main Street.
So that's Main Street in Berlin, and then that's 1063 where the red box is coming up.
Correct.
How many lanes of travel on Main Street?
2.
And is that, you can describe the park on the other side, is that what you can see at the bottom of this photo?
Yes, the Heritage Park.
That last photo. What do you see there?
That's 1063 Main Street where we're responding.
So we'll do all of this while we have you up here. Is 1063 Main Street multi-family home?
It is.
That's multiple apartments within that one structure.
Yes.
Is there a garage?
Yes.
All right. Can you see any of it in this photo?
Yes, you got right in the rear.
And is there a driveway?
Yes.
What side of the house is the driveway on?
Go to the left side.
So with that, yeah. Can you point out which side of the house the driveway is on?
Yes, right here, the left side.
Now back on Exhibit 3, is that the garage you can see down at the other end of that driveway on the left side?
Yes.
This is States Exhibit 3B. Is this showing the driveway in that garage?
Yes, it is.
So how many bays in that garage?
3.
It's a separate structure from the house, correct?
Correct.
Does the garage have an attic?
It does.
Where's the door to the garage?
All the way to the right side, you can see it over this photo.
Last one, States Exhibit 3C. What are we looking at here?
That's the rear of 1063 Main Street. Main entrance point.
So that white door in the middle there, is that the main entrance point from the parking lot?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Detective, you can go to stand. Detective, you mentioned that you received a phone call, went to Berlin TV, and then staged at a location near 1063 Main Street. Did you eventually go to 1063 Main Street?
Yes, I did.
And did you go there in that Bearcat that you described?
We did.
When you got there, where did you park?
We parked right in that rear parking space right in front of the 3-bay garage.
What did you do at that point after you arrived?
So my role as a team leader is to convey basically what's going on the ground to the commander who makes the decisions as far as what we do next. At that point, we weren't sure whether or not Mr. Duren's vehicle was still in one of those 3-bay garages. If they may be inside a residence, we didn't really know. At that point, upon arrival, we decided to clear the 3-bay garage as there was a dormer up above that also posed a risk to our officers outside on the perimeter as well. So we made the decision to clear that garage first.
Before we talk about the garage, was there snow on the ground at that point?
There was.
And could you see any tracks in the snow when you were at?
There were tracks going to the one garage bay in particular more than others.
Detective Sergeant, when you say you cleared the garage, what do you mean?
We entered into the the garage to make sure that there was nobody inside.
And we were also looking for the vehicle.
Yes,
Remember what kind of vehicle you were looking for?
I believe it was a small sedan.
Did you clear the garage?
We did.
Did you find anyone or anything in there?
No,
Was the defendant's vehicle, or excuse me, was the vehicle you were looking for in there?
no, it was not.
What did you do next after clearing the garage?
Based on the circumstances, we decided to make entry into the residence.
How did you go into the residence?
We went in through that white door you see on the rear of the building.
Was that door locked?
That was not locked.
When you got in through that door, what did you encounter?
There was a set of stairs that we later found to reach the other apartments in that building, as well as a door, which we later found reached the basement, which is a common area. And then there was another door straight ahead as we entered into this door here. And that was the main entrance pointing to Mr. Duren's apartment.
Was that door into the apartment locked?
Yes, it was.
How were you able to open it?
We utilized a ram to get through that door.
So if you could paint a picture, how many officers were with you at this time when you're entering into this apartment?
We had 4 of us on the immediate action team.
Where were you relative to those other 3?
So as the team leader, I'm usually in the back, we call the stacks, the back of the group. So that's where I was. I was number 4 in that group.
After that door was breached, did the group go into that ground floor apartment?
Yes,
What did you see when you got in?
the apartment was completely black. So it took us a moment to get through the initial entryway until we later just briefly found the light switches that we turned on while we were in there.
So the door was locked, and the lights were off, and you went in. What did you and your teammates do?
We began clearing. There were initial rooms to the left and right, which we cleared to make sure there was nobody inside. And then we continued going straight into what we'd later find to be a kitchen area.
And tell us what you saw when you got to the kitchen area.
So the kitchen area opened up into 2 rooms, one to the left, one to the right. And at that point, we had multiple officers begin to go left and right from that kitchen area.
What happened next?
Deputy Green was the first person in front of me to the right. I was holding the room to the left with Sergeant Gale. We were able to start to make entry into the right room off the kitchen. And at that point, Deputy Green announced that there was a female victim on the couch with an apparent gunshot wound to the head.
What room was Deputy Green in?
That would be the living room.
So after hearing that from him, that he found a female with a gunshot wound to the head, what did you do?
We continued clearing the rest of the apartment to make sure that Mr. Duren and the children were not in there.
Did you find anyone else in the apartment?
No,
Did you go to the living room?
I did.
Tell us what you saw.
Again, we did an initial search of the apartment. I went to the female. I checked her to make sure she was in fact deceased. And while I was there, I noted several things. Her body was very cold. The appearance of her skin indicated to me, based on training and experience, that she had been there a while. I also noted a single shell casing to the right of the couch in the living room.
You mentioned an apparent gunshot wound. Where did you see that apparent gunshot wound?
The gunshot was to the side of her head.
Where was that female sitting or positioned, I should say?
As I was facing the couch from the front, she was all the way to the right side.
So was she sitting or lying down?
She was kind of slumped over.
Where were her feet?
They were positioned in front of her.
Were any of her feet on the coffee table?
I don't believe so.
After observing, you mentioned observing a shell casing. Where did you see that?
I was directly to the right of the couch, right on the floor.
After seeing that female there and that shell casing, what did you do?
So based on the type of scene that we knew we had at that point, it was our job to maintain custody of the scene, to maintain the integrity of the investigation that we knew was forthcoming. So I made sure that there was an officer that stayed with the female victim while the rest of our team had to continue on to make sure that the other residents, if any, in the apartment were safe and secure, and that there wasn't a possibility Mr. Duren was anywhere else within that building.
What was the purpose of stationing an officer in that living room?
These type of investigations and require us to maintain the integrity, and that means that nobody touches the body, nobody moves anything from the scene, and nobody, everyone's responsible for their own actions. So we post an officer with the body to make sure that all those are accounted for, all those things happen.
Other than checking for a pulse, did you or any other officers with you touch that body?
No,
Did you or any of those officers touch that shell case?
no.
Did you and the other officers then proceed to the rest of the building to clear it?
We did.
And what did you find as you did that?
There were multiple apartments within that structure that were empty. And we did note one resident on the top floor that we evacuated from the building.
Anyone in the second floor apartment?
No, I don't believe so.
Did you check the basement for people as well?
Yes,
Did you find anyone in the basement?
no.
Once that whole building was searched, what happened next?
I made sure I was the last one out, and I taped over the entry exit of that building. Notified dispatch that I was the last one out, and I made sure I posted officers at locations around the residence that would maintain the custody of that building to make sure that nobody went in or out. And we would start a scene log at that point to make sure that anyone that did arrive on scene was logging in.
Was there a police tape put around the building as well?
There was.
Okay, Sergeant, you mentioned that the door into the apartment was locked. Can you tell us, is that locked with the knob or with the deadbolt?
I'm sorry, the first entry door or the door of the apartment?
Door to the apartment.
Yes, that had a deadbolt on it.
Deadbolt was locked.
Yes.
What further questions?
Morning, Sergeant. One question. The Maryland Police Department's phone number 603-752-3131.
Yes.
And if you were to Google that number will pop up.
I think so.
No more questions. Thank you.
Nothing further.
Okay, and Detective Sergeant Benjamin, step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
May you step down? Okay, thank you.
At this time, the state would call Mark Duren.
Duren, if you could remain standing and please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth on your pains and penalties of perjury today?
I do.
Thank you. You may be seated. Sir, could you please state your name for the record?
Mark Philip Duren,
Mr. Duren, where do you currently live?
in Pine City, Minnesota.
And for how long have you resided there?
About 4 years now.
How long have you lived in Minnesota?
Well, off and on most of my life.
What do you do for a living?
I'm retired.
And what did you do prior to retiring?
I was a deputy sheriff with Anoka County in Minnesota.
Yanoka County Sheriff's Department.
Yes,
Are you married?
yes.
To whom are you married?
Deborah Duren,
And how many children do you have together?
we have 2 together.
Okay, and you have one additional child?
I do.
Do you know the defendant seated to my right, or sorry, my right at trial table?
Certainly do.
Who is that?
It's my son, Dustin Duren.
In terms of your children, is Dustin your oldest child, your middle child?
Middle child.
In February of 2024, where is Mr. Duren, the defendant, living?
In Berlin, New Hampshire.
Is it fair to say that, or I'm sorry, do you know how long he'd been living in Berlin, New Hampshire?
Approximately a month.
He'd moved there, in fact, in January of 2024.
Yes,
And prior to his moving to New Hampshire to live in Berlin, New Hampshire, did he reside with you in Minnesota?
he did.
Had you, through the course of having Mr. Duren live with you and being your son, met his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, CaitlynNaffziger?
Yes,
And this may sound like a silly question, but you have in fact met his children, is that correct?
very much. Yes.
Can you please identify the 2 children that Mr. Duren had with Ms. Naffziger?
Elwyn and Valen,
In February of 2024, how old was Alwyn
4,
and how old was Valen?
1.
Is it true that at this time you are currently sharing custody of Alwyn and Valen with Ms. Naffziger's family?
Yes,
Mr. Duren, I'm going to show you what is marked for evidence for identification as State's Exhibit 4 with respect to this case. That's to take a look at this. Do you recognize what you're looking at?
yes.
What is it?
Caitlin and Elwyn,
This is fairly inaccurate. Show both of them in this image.
yes.
Right at this time, the state requests the state's 4 be admitted into evidence. Objection.
The ID may be stricken and it shall be considered a full exhibit.
Now, Mr. Duren, in February of 2024, specifically on February 29th of 2024, did you make a call to the Berlin Police Department?
I did.
Can you explain to us why?
Dustin had called my wife. And she had informed me.
Based on a conversation you had with your wife, you called the Berlin Police Department?
Yes,
What did you tell the Berlin Police Department?
that I'd received information that Caitlin had been shot.
Did you tell the Berlin Police Department why Caitlin had been shot?
Yes.
Objection, the approach.
Yeah. I'm going to allow Mr. Duren's answer to the state's question. I'm instructing you not to consider it for purposes of the truth of the matter with respect to what is contained in the statement, but instead, you can consider it only for the specific reason of what was said to the Berlin Police Department at that time, and you shall consider it for no other purpose. Okay? Thank
Mr. Duren, you indicated that you called the Berlin Police Department because you had received information that your son had shot and killed Miss Naffziger. What did you tell the Berlin Police Department when you called them?
What did I tell them?
What did you tell them?
Exactly that I had received information from my wife that Dustin had shot Caitlin.
Did that information include why?
No,
You're indicating today that the defendant called your wife's phone, that's Deborah's cell phone.
correct.
What is Deborah's cell phone number?
763-607. I'm sorry. I can look on my phone if you want. I just called Deb on my phone.
Understandable, as most of us do. Are you familiar with the cell phone number 763-350-0954?
That's correct.
Okay, what is that correct to be?
That is my wife's phone number.
Okay, so 763-350-0954 is your wife's cellular phone number.
Correct.
What time of day did that call come to your wife?
I don't recall.
State.
Were you present at home at the time the call came in?
I was.
Okay, and at what time did the call occur?
I don't recall.
Was it in the daytime or the nighttime?
It was in the evening.
When your wife received a call from your son, where were you?
I was in the living room watching TV.
What were you watching?
I don't recall.
Where was your wife?
She was in the bedroom.
How long was your wife on the phone?
I would estimate 5 to 10 minutes. I wasn't present, so I don't know exactly.
At any point during this conversation where your son called and provided this information, did your wife leave the bedroom and come to the living room?
After the phone call, she came out and informed me.
Following that phone call, did you and your wife receive a video?
Not that I'm aware of.
You didn't report to the Berlin Police Department or to state police that you received a video from your son?
I believe that was after.
So after that phone call ended, did you receive a video?
Yes.
What was that video?
Dustin and the girls in the car.
Where were they? Besides in the car, could you tell where they were?
I could not.
Did it look like you said they were in a vehicle? Did they look like they were inside of a garage, in a parking lot? What was the background?
I don't recall. I just recall the inside of the car and the occupants.
Following your 911 call or your emergency call to the Berlin Police Department, did you continue communicating with police?
I did.
You made, in fact, several phone calls to the police department, correct?
Correct.
At least 2 that evening,
Yes, ma'am.
and other officers called you,
Yes,
and you shared information with them?
I did.
Did you also share photographs of the defendant with the police?
I did.
Did you provide them with photographs of the 2 children?
Yes.
Mr. Duren, as a sheriff's deputy, were you assigned a service weapon?
Was.
Okay.
Several.
Several service weapons? When you retired from the sheriff's department, what did you do with those several service weapons?
I gifted one to my son Dustin and another to my son Nicholas.
What kind of gun did you give to Dustin?
It was a Beretta.
Beretta 9mm?
Yes.
Any states exhibit 20A, which is marked for identification purposes. Do you recognize this?
Yes, ma'am.
What is it?
It's a Beretta handgun.
Do you know if that is your service weapon that was a Beretta handgun?
I would not know unless I looked at the serial number.
Do you know the serial number for that weapon?
Not right offhand, no.
But you would recognize it if you observed it. Is that fair to say?
Not without looking at my records to identify the serial number.
But you gifted a gun just like that to your son Dustin, correct?
I did.
$250,000. Thank you, Mr. Duren. I have no other questions. Morning, Mr. Duren.
Good morning.
Mr. Duren, you testified that you're a sheriff within the county sheriff's department in Minnesota
Correct.
for 19 years.
Yes, ma'am.
And have you, in your role as a sheriff, did you have to testify in court?
Yes, ma'am.
And you are aware of the importance of telling the truth, correct?
Absolutely.
And to be honest,
Yes.
and to be as complete and detailed as possible.
Yes, ma'am.
When you were watching TV in your living room, in Minnesota, on the night of February 29th, 2024, you testified that Deb received a phone call.
Correct.
Did you hear her receive that phone call, or did you find out after she came in and
I found out afterwards she came out of the bedroom hysterical.
But she was hysterical, she came out to talk to you. Prior to her coming out, you had no idea she received a phone call from Dustin?
I knew she was on the phone. I did not know who she was speaking with.
So Deb comes out hysterical, and provides you information. And as a result of that, you called 911, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, so when you called 911, you actually got Minnesota dispatcher, correct?
Correct.
And what did you report to them?
That I had received information from my wife that Caitlyn had been shot.
Right, and did they transfer you to dispatch in New Hampshire?
Yes, ma'am.
So you didn't have to like hang up and call in somewhere, correct?
I don't believe so.
When you were transferred, you spoke to someone that from dispatch and gave them the same information, correct?
I did.
Answered all their questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Provided them information like your son's name, right?
Correct.
Caitlin's name,
Yes.
the kids' names,
Yes.
what Dustin drove for a vehicle,
Yes.
his address.
Yes.
You didn't leave anything out.
No.
You were concern for your son
Yes, and for Caitlin,
and for Caitlin and the grandchildren.
yes,
You didn't speak to Dustin that night though, correct?
I did not.
You were not in Berlin on the night of February 29th, correct?
No,
You didn't see what Caitlin said that night, correct?
no,
You didn't hear what Caitlin said that night,
no,
correct? You didn't see what Caitlin did that night, correct?
correct.
Mr. Duren, you're a Marine veteran, correct?
Correct.
And what years did you serve?
1977 to 81.
And as a Marine, are you expected to be familiar with firearms?
I am.
As a Marine, are you expected to shoot firearms with precision?
Yes,
Are all Marines expected to be able to deliver well-aimed shots to eliminate the adversary?
yes, ma'am.
Every Marine is a rifleman, correct?
Correct.
And every Marine, regardless of their specialty, go to infantry training, correct?
That's correct.
They're trained in ground combat, correct?
That's correct.
Everyone in the Marines is expected to be combat ready, correct?
That is correct.
Well, what does combat ready mean?
That at any time they could be called into a war zone.
As a Marine, you're trained to be ready for combat and be a combat marksman, correct?
Correct.
You told us that you gifted Dustin a Beretta M9, correct?
Yes,
And that was your former service weapon.
yes,
And it became yours upon retirement.
yes.
Now, are you familiar with the M9?
I am.
Okay, how, was that your regular service weapon that you used?
Yes, yes,
Was that the only weapon M9 that you used as the sheriff?
it was the only Beretta. Every few years, we would be issued new firearms.
So the M9, the last firearm, and the M9 that you used Dustin, the last firearm that you had before you retired?
Yes,
The M9 is a pistol, correct?
it is.
A semi-automatic handgun?
Yes,
And what does that mean that it's semi-automatic? Actually, Your Honor.
Basis.
Here, maybe a bridge.
Sure. Overall.
What does it mean to be a semi-automatic pistol?
it means that it will fire every time you pull the trigger.
And the M9 is, it has several safety features, correct?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And actually it was developed for use by the armed forces, correct?
Yes.
And it has a fail-proof safety system, correct?
Yes.
Mr. Duren, how many grandchildren do you have?
7.
7 grandchildren. And you testified earlier that Alan and Valen are Dustin's 2 children, correct?
Right.
With Caitlin, right?
Yes.
And at the time of this incident in February of 2024, Alan was 4
Yes.
and Valen was 1.
Yes.
And at the time of the incident in February 2024, Dustin, Alan lived in Berlin, New Hampshire, correct?
Correct.
And Valen and Caitlin had just come out a few days prior from Minnesota, correct?
Sustained.
When before Dustin and Ellen moved to Berlin, New Hampshire, he lived with you and your wife, correct?
That's correct.
And Ellen and Valen lived with you part-time, correct?
Correct.
The other part of the time they lived with Caitlin, correct?
That is correct.
And you were aware that Dustin and Caitlin would exchange the kids for their, or objection, you're saying. Pressure.
Withdrawn, no ruling.
Oh, Mr. Duren, when Dustin lived with you and your wife and his children, several months, correct?
Correct.
And you were able to observe Dustin's relationships with each children, correct?
Yes.
And specifically with Ellen, you observed how close they were, correct?
Extremely.
Really close. Dustin loved being father, as far as you could see, correct?
Very much so.
And he cared deeply for Ellen. Correct?
Overruled.
So based on your observations between Dustin and Ellen, he cared deeply for Ellen, correct?
That is
And when Dustin and the girls lived with you part-time, they were there 90 days, but not 40 days, correct?
that's correct.
So Dustin and the girls were there at your home at a higher ratio than the other girls.
Yes.
I don't have any more.
Redirect.
Duren, you talked a little bit with defense counsel about being a Marine and having Marine training with respect to how to use a gun, correct?
Yes.
Part of your training as a Marine also involves being disciplined,
Yes.
when to appropriately use a gun.
Yes.
Does it also include when not to use a gun?
Yes.
As a Marine, are you taught to mindlessly fire?
Of course not.
You're in fact taught to assess situations, correct?
Yes.
To only fire when necessary,
Yes.
to take out a threat.
Objection, Your Honor, leave it.
I can rephrase, Your Honor.
Withdrawn. Sustained.
With respect to your training, Mr. Duren, are you taught as a Marine to shoot at a specific individual?
If necessary, yes.
Okay. And are you taught when and how to decide if it's necessary to shoot?
Yes.
How about an unarmed person? Is it necessary to shoot them? Objection.
Overruled.
You may answer, Mr. Duren.
Yes.
It's necessary to shoot an unarmed person?
Objection, Your Honor, the approach.
Yep.
Yes.
Mr. Duren, does your Marine training include information on shooting persons who are unarmed?
Yes.
As a Marine, is that something that you're trained to do?
Yes.
Are there certain circumstances under which your training tells you that that can occur?
Depends on the threat at the time.
As a Marine, you're trained in ground combat.
Correct.
What is combat?
It means taking out your enemy if necessary.
Taking out your enemy. Are you trained as a Marine to be thoughtful with respect to your use of a handgun in combat?
Yes.
No other questions?
Because,
Nothing further.
okay, can Mr. Duren be excused?
What time is it?
Okay.
I don't know. Screen share cancel. Let me see what this about. I don't know. Let me get us back over there. I don't know why that stopped like that. Oh, because the feed ended for the day. Let me get us back. So what happens is when they went to lunch. Okay. So okay, here go the rest of the stream part, but it looked like they may have ended for the day. Quiet as kept. It looked like we got about an hour more. So here, that's what happens. Wait a minute. Okay, let me get us. So they took a lunch, just so y'all aware. Share. Okay, so what it looked like, they took a lunch, right? But it looks like what they must go in court early today because I see where Law and Crime has ended their stream. So I assume, and that's probably why it took us kind of out of it and kicked us out. But let's go ahead and I'm bringing us back to after lunch. Yeah, does that seem like a real early day? This is in New Hampshire. I don't know what time zone they on. I ain't even gonna hold you. Coded language is like I think like when you trying to when I was thinking of it when I did it, like when we talking about hate slurs and speeches, people use other different words like coded where it mean two things, but you know exactly what they're meaning. Baka. Oh, they on Eastern Standard Time, so it's what 12:01:02. So it's about 2:00 there. Okay. I don't know. Well, maybe they didn't have all their witnesses together. We'll see. Let's see. I think that's what that means, that they ended court, but we'll see. It looks like they got about 45 minutes or so.
Please remain seated, Jerry.
All live, jury. We're calling a superior court of no objection. No, I.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you. Please be seated.
Your Honor, at this time is legal posture for Amanda Johnson. Trooper Johnson, if you could remain standing and raise your right hand, thank you. Do you swear today that the testimony you're about to give is the truth under penalties of perjury? Yes, I do. Thank you. You may be seated. Can you please state and spell your full name for the record?
I'm Detective Amanda Johnson. Last name is spelled Johnsson.
And where or how are you currently employed?
I'm employed as a detective within the Hampshire State Police.
And with the New Hampshire State Police, are you assigned to any particular troop, barracks, or a section?
Yes, I'm in the major crime unit.
And what is the major crime unit?
Our primary job is to investigate homicides. We handle all officer-involved shootings throughout the state, as well as conflict cases that may arise that other agencies can't investigate.
So if there's a problem with the agency investigating, say, one of their own, you would maybe take that case?
Yes.
Okay. So in this instance, as a person in the major crime unit, what is your role specifically inside of investigations?
I primarily do crime scene investigation.
What does that mean?
I respond to the crime scenes and process them for evidence.
And do you have any kind of specialized training that allows you to do this type of job?
I attended the National Forensics Academy back in 2023, 10-week program investigating or helping to investigate forensics and things of that nature.
And how long have you been working with the New Hampshire State Police?
I just started my 18th year this past August.
And for how long have you been specifically working on crime scene investigation?
I've been in the major crime unit since 2019.
Now, I want to draw your attention to February the 29th of 2024. Did there come a time that you became involved in an investigation into a homicide by shooting that had occurred at 1063 or 1063 Main Street in Berlin, New Hampshire?
Yes, I did. I believe that was an early morning call out.
Do you recall what time of day you received the call?
I think it was around 1 o'clock in the morning.
When you say you received the call, were you working at the time?
No, I was off duty sleeping.
Can you describe for us how that call occurred?
I was called by Lieutenant John Sonia and advised that they had a homicide in the town of Berlin. He requested that I respond to the scene with the crime truck.
And when you say, were you assigned to a specific role for that crime scene?
That particular call, I was the officer in charge as well as the evidence technician, and I believe I took video that day.
Okay, when you say you were the officer in charge, that sounds fancy. What does that mean?
It's just more paperwork. Basically, I delve out. We all kind of split the tasks, the required tasks. And at the end, it's just I'm compiling all of the reports basically into one report.
And you said that you were asked to respond out with the crime scene truck.
Yes.
Can you explain to us what that is?
We have 2 crime scene trucks. They're basically mobile offices that hold our supplies and equipment.
And when you received that call to respond out to Berlin, what information was provided to you about what you were walking into?
I knew that the suspect was at large, and they were primarily focusing on locating him as well as children.
Was that part of your responsibility with respect to this case?
No, I brought the truck to the scene where I stayed for a while they finished investigative aspects of the case and finally did receive a court authorized search warrant.
So you spent some time waiting while other steps were taken before you were able to get into the house?
Yes.
Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about your crime scene work. When you talk about working on a crime scene, can you describe for us sort of the methods or the steps that you use when you're documenting crime scenes?
Yes, like I said, we have various tasks that we have to complete there. We use a 3D scanner called a Faro that Faros the scene in 3D. One of us takes a GoPro video and walks around the crime scene with the video. One person's assigned to photographs. Another person's assigned to cataloging and documenting evidence that we collect. And it's when we finally get in there, it's slow going because we essentially process the scene in layers. We take what's visible without disturbing anything, and then we start, peeling back the layers and documenting it as we go.
So when you initially arrive at a scene, you take it as it is, correct?
Yes.
You take photographs and videos of that?
Correct.
Okay. And then you said you started removing a layer.
Yes.
And when you remove each layer, what, if anything, do you do in terms of the documentation?
So we photograph along as we search, when we move things and when we, search through things like, for instance, if you opened a drawer, we would take a photo and search the contents of the drawer and then take another photo. So just things are done in layers.
So when you take photographs, are you just taking a photograph sort of the overall space, or are there different layers even of the photographs that you take?
Yeah, so overalls, far away and then mid-range and then close up is typically how we do the photographs.
Are photographs taken in terms of when you arrive at a scene that has a person or a victim inside of it? Do you take photographs with the victim there as well as with them removed from the scene?
Yes, we take photographs as we come to the scene and how we find the scene and the body.
You indicated that some troopers or officers are tasked with locating evidence. Are photographs taken of that evidence as well?
Yes, we work as a team. We decide what we're going to collect, and as we go, we photograph and document what we're collecting.
Why so many photographs?
You can never take too many photographs. I've only experienced situations where you wish you would have taken more, so I tell everyone to, take as many as you think you should, and then go further and take more.
Do you document every scene that you respond to in the same manner?
Yes.
Was the crime scene at 1063 Main Street documented in this way by video, photograph, and Faro?
Yes.
Were photographs taken with Ms. Naffziger's body present?
Yes.
And were photographs taken when her body was removed?
Yes.
Now, I want to show you and place up on the screen State's Exhibit 3A, which is in evidence. Would help if I turn on this light. And I may need to ask you to step down if you're unable to see it, and I do apologize because you may spend quite some time getting out of your retina screen. If that's all right with the board.
Yes, so long as the jury can hear and so long as we have appropriate audio and so long as it doesn't obstruct defendants at all, certainly.
If I can ask you to step down, it might be easier to stand closely with the papers. And
Please.
just in case. Now, Trooper Johnson, is this the location, State's Exhibit 3A, which is on the screen of 1603 Main Street?
Yes.
I'm sorry, 1063 Main Street.
Yes.
And is this the location where you responded with the crime scene truck?
Yes.
Can you describe what this building is for us?
This building is an apartment building. I was advised by the Berlin Police Department that there were 4 units total in that building.
By the time that you arrived on scene, had that dwelling already been cleared by the Berlin Police Department?
Yes, it had.
I'm not sure why the screen is flashing. It may have something to do with some interference we're receiving, but hopefully it'll stay on. So you indicated that it was a multi-unit dwelling, correct?
Yes.
Okay. With respect to the investigation that you were working, the call that you were there for, What areas of this building were of interest to you?
We were authorized to search, Mr. Duren's apartment, which was the lower level apartment, the first floor.
I'm gonna stop for a second, just because it doesn't seem to be cutting out on any of the monitors, just that monitor, so. Maybe it's just a loose connection, I just didn't know if there's anything we can do.
You're getting some feedback on this, Your Honor, so I'm not certain if something's going wrong. Take my life in my hands and think of it.
That seems to have worked, thank you.
Fingers crossed. All right, so you started to say, and I apologize, you started to say that you were authorized to search certain locations in this building. What were those locations?
Mr. Duren's apartment, which was the lower first level of the building.
Did you also conduct any searches in the garage bay?
Yes, we did.
Speaking about that garage bay, can you see that on the screen?
Most of it, yes.
Okay. Was there a garage bay that you learned was assigned to that first floor apartment?
Yes.
Was there a car located in that garage bay?
No.
Were there any cars inside of any of the garage bays when you were on scene?
Yes, there were other tenants that had vehicles there.
Were those cars checked?
I recall that one tenant needed to get to her vehicle, so we escorted her to get the car and we just performed a quick search by consent just to make sure we weren't missing anything.
In terms of the garage space, were any items of evidentiary value were recovered from that location?
Not that I recall. No.
Now, did you take video of the exterior of this building?
Yes, I did.
Okay, can you explain for us how you did that?
Utilizing a GoPro camera, I walked around outside and then walked inside slowly, just getting all the rooms in that apartment.
When you do that, you're just holding the GoPro camera in your hand,
Yes.
okay? And are you talking, narrating? What can we expect that we would hear?
No, no talking.
Now, prior to this hearing, did you review, I should have actually stayed over with you. Did you review some exhibits prior to being tested?
Yes, I did.
Did you take a look at State's Exhibit 7A?
Yes, I did.
Is that a video clip that you took of the exterior of the building?
Yes.
Did you also review State's Exhibit 7B?
Yes.
Is that a clip of a video that you took from the interior of the building?
Yes.
At this time, the state would ask to have the ID struck. No objection.
The ID, excuse me, the ID may be stricken with respect to exhibits 7A and 7B, and they may be considered as full exhibits.
Now, I'm going to move off of State's Exhibit 3A. On the screen now should be State's Exhibit 7A. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. Permission to publish State 7A.
Yes.
And where this clip ends, what are we looking at?
That is the door, the entryway to a common area for the apartments. The white door.
And it goes into all of the apartments in this building, is that correct?
Yes.
Is there another entrance that just goes to apartment on the first floor?
Yes.
Where is that located?
Around the front of the house by the street.
Next, showing you State's Exhibit 3C, which is in evidence, just so that we can transition over. Is this the same photograph or a photograph that shows the back of that house?
Yes.
Okay. And that white door at the back, is that the one you've indicated goes to a common area?
Yes.
Now, for the ease of this, to bring on, I could ask you to step over towards me just really quickly. I would ask if you take a look through states exhibits 8A through 8T. I just need to separate them out. Okay, how do you flip through these photographs for me? You can flip them in my direction, as they're not, I think we have an agreement that they're coming to evidence, right? As you're doing this, Trooper Johnson, do you recognize what you're looking at?
Yes.
Can you tell us what they are?
Photographs of the apartment as well as the evidence that we collected.
Do those photographs, as you look at them, fairly and accurately show the apartment as you observed it when you responded there?
Yes, it does.
In fact, I can ask you to step back over. If you need a break or any water, just let me know. We can stand up quite a bit. Now, with respect to, and Your Honor, at this time, the state would ask to strike the ID as to states exhibits 8A through 8T and admit them into evidence. No, sir.
The ID may be stricken with respect to 8A through 8T inclusive, and they may be considered full exhibits.
I'm just showing you states exhibit 8A. This is a close-up of the roof door and hence 1063 Main Street that we've just seen.
Yes.
And in this image, the door is ajar.
Yes.
Okay, was it open like that when you responded?
Yes.
Where does this door lead again?
To a small common area utilized by all the tenants to access their apartments.
Moving into states exhibit 8B, what are we looking at here?
That straight ahead door is where the scene was.
And the straight ahead door is the door to where?
Duren's apartment.
Okay, so the defendant's Duren's apartment?
Yes.
You can go ahead and have a seat. I'm gonna give you a break for this a second. You had indicated when you first began testifying that you had not immediately just jumped right in. You had to wait for quite some time.
Correct.
And why were you waiting?
Like I said, we were waiting for the investigators to try to figure out where the suspect was and locate the children. And then that shifted gears to writing search warrant for the apartment.
Okay. Were you also waiting for somebody from the medical examiner's office?
Yes.
Did someone from the medical examiner's office arrive on scene?
Yes.
What, if anything, occurred once that happened?
When the medical examiner arrived on scene, she, under her authority, we went to the apartment to examine the body that was located in the living room.
And did you enter into the apartment to do that?
Yes.
Were you present personally with the ADME or the assistant or associate deputy medical examiner
Yes,
to examine the body?
yes.
Can you describe when you observed Miss Naffziger's body, how she was positioned?
She was sitting on the couch. Her right leg was up on the coffee table, and she had a blanket around her body.
Did you, as well as the assistant deputy medical examiner, observe any injuries to Miss Naffziger?
We saw wounds that were consistent with a gunshot wound to the head.
Did you observe any weapons near Miss Naffziger?
No,
Did she have any property near her besides the blanket that you just described?
she had a cell phone that was next to her on her right side on the couch.
At the time that you entered into the living room with the medical examiner's office, did you observe any evidence that was consistent with Miss Naffziger having been shot in addition to her wounds that you observed?
Yes, to my right of the couch, I noticed a fired cartridge casing on the floor next to the couch.
Can you tell us what a fired cartridge casing is, Ms. Turner?
When a bullet's fired, the casing is what ejects from the pistol.
With respect to the first floor apartment, can you give us sort of an idea of what that apartment itself consisted of in terms of rooms, the layout?
Yes, it looked like there was 3 bedrooms, but they were using another room as like a 4th bedroom. 2 rooms were empty, utilized for what appeared to be storage. One of the rooms looked like a little girl's room. And then off of the living room, there was a room that would look like it was utilized as the master bedroom.
Many states exhibit 22, do you recognize that?
Yes, this is the diagram of Mr. Duren's apartment.
Is that a fair and accurate representation of the layout of the apartment as you observed it?
Yes,
And the locations of where items were inside of the living room?
yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state moves to strike the ID and admit states 22 as filled by agreement. Yep, no objection.
The ID may be stricken and exhibit 22 may be considered a full Zoom.
Putting up on the screen states exhibit number 22. I don't know if you can do it from there. I'm going to do what I can to not have you just standing here for the entirety of your testimony. With respect to this exhibit, as we look at it, can you describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury where Ms. Naffziger was positioned? If you need to step down, please do.
She was, like I said, on the couch. And she had her right foot elevated on the coffee table.
When she's sitting on the couch, is she towards the desk on the couch or is she on the other side of the room in terms of where she is?
More consistent with where you have the casing marked on that side of the couch.
Okay. So I just put up the red to show where Ms. Naffziger was located. Is that where she was fairly and accurately?
Yes.
Okay. And then if I click again, for the jury to see, there's a casing that's marked there. Is that all consistent with where you observed the body of Ms. Naffziger on the sofa or couch?
Yes.
And then where the casing was observed?
Yes.
After the assistant medical examiner examined the body of Ms. Naffziger, what, if anything, occurred?
I believe that we left the body there so that we could farrow with the body in place, just because if I come to a scene and the body has not moved by first responders and it's located in the original spot, I like to document and preserve that. So I believe we farrowed that room and then we removed the body.
Farrow, did you also take photographs?
Yes.
And then the body was removed?
Yes.
And was the scene still secured at that point pending the search warrant?
Yes. The Berlin Police Department provided scene security that day.
What does it mean to provide or scene security or secure a scene?
Usually we cord it off with crime scene tape, and we'll have at least one or two cruisers standing by and making sure that no one unauthorized enters through the crime scene.
That prior to having a search warrant, does anyone enter into it except to deal with the body?
No, just with the medical examiner.
Later that afternoon, around 1:40 p.m., did you receive authorization through a search and seizure warrant to enter into the home to conduct your examination of the scene?
Yes.
And at that point, is that when you started the process that you described to us before about photographing in layers?
Yes.
I think I'm gonna have to ask you to step down. Absolutely. States Exhibit 8C, which is in evidence on the screen. Can you describe for us where we are or where this photograph was taken inside of the apartment?
That's as you walk in that entryway door in the rear.
And when you look at this, it's sort of a hallway, is that fair to say?
Yes,
Do you know where the doors on either side of that hallway lead?
those are the spare bedrooms that, like I said, it appeared to be utilized as storage.
And straight ahead,
Straight ahead leads into the kitchen.
you continue to walk down that hallway and end up in the kitchen. What do you have on your right-hand side?
The right-hand side is the living room and master bedroom area.
And to the left?
That was the little girl's room.
I want to look first with you, if we can, at States Exhibit 8D. Which room is this?
This is the spare bedroom to the right when you're walking down that hallway immediately upon entering the apartment.
And is this one of the rooms that you indicated was pretty much used as storage?
Yes,
Okay. Now, zooming in a little bit closer into States Exhibit 8, was evidence recovered or items recovered of interest in this case in the closet?
yes.
Showing you States Exhibit 8F. What are we seeing in this image?
ALJ2 looks like a box of ammunition, and ALJ3 looks like a holster, a gun holster.
Can you explain for us? So you're reading the yellow markers, is that fair to say?
Yes.
What do those yellow markers signify?
It's just how we document evidence that we're taking. Whoever's the evidence technician that day, we utilize our initials. I'm Amanda Lee Johnson, so ALJ. And as we go, we assign each piece of evidence a number.
Do the numbers have any meaning about importance or anything like that?
No,
And what do the numbers stand for?
it's just the number of the next item. So from there, the next item would be 4.
I want to go ahead and take a look with you at the items that you're looking at on that top shelf and the items that were marked. Looking first at States Exhibits 8G and 8H together on this slide. What is ALJ2 that you have marked?
A box of ammunition.
Looking next at States Exhibit 8I, which is in evidence, and your marker is, I believe, ALJ3. What are we looking at?
That's a shoulder holster with a magazine pouch.
When you say a magazine pouch, can you explain that for us?
You would put the magazines from a pistol in the pouch.
Next, looking on one slide at States Exhibits 8J and 8K. What are we looking at in terms of ALJ3A?
So that's one of the magazines that was in the pouch, and that was the contents in the magazine, the ammunition.
So it was a loaded magazine.
Yes.
With respect to States Exhibits 8L and 8M together on this slide, ALJ3B, what are we looking at?
That was the other magazine in the pouch.
Okay, so both 3A and 3B came from the holster that was recovered.
Correct.
And with respect to this, was this also a loaded magazine?
Yes, with those bullets in it.
Were you able to determine the type of ammunition that this was?
Yes, I believe they're all 9mm.
Now, once these items that we've just looked at are recovered and photographed on the scene, are they recovered?
Yes, we photograph them and we package them and secure them on the crime scene truck and later transfer it to the forensic lab.
Can you explain to us how they're packaged, what that process looks like?
We primarily use paper bags, but we put the item in a bag and we secure the bag with evidence tape so that it can't be tampered with and it's secured.
And do you sign those bags?
Yes, we initial along the seams to secure that chain of custody essentially.
Now, in your search of the apartment, did you locate or recover a pistol or a handgun?
No.
Showing you next to Exhibit 8N coming back into the hallway of the apartment, can you kind of orient us back to where we are?
Yes, you're standing in the hallway and the door to the left was the other room, spare room that was utilized for storage.
With respect to the bedroom, which is the storage room, the first open door to the left in this photograph, was anything of evidentiary value marked and collected from there?
I don't recall from that room, no.
How about in the bathroom, the second open door on the left of the photo, was there anything of evidentiary value marked or recovered?
Not that I recall.
Now I want to move further into the apartment. It states Exhibit 8O. Can you orient us sort of here? And I know you've described sort of to the right and the left of the kitchen. Can you just let us know where we're looking here?
Yes, so the opening to the right is towards the living room. And then the left side by the cabinet, there's a door here that belongs to the little girl bedroom belonging to the little girl.
And the kitchen also continues off to the right, is that, or the left, I'm sorry, is that fair to say?
Yes.
Showing you states Exhibit 8P. What are we looking at here?
That's just the other side of the kitchen.
Did you search the trash can that's over there?
Yes.
Why?
We conduct a complete search and we process the scene to include trash cans.
Was it when anything recovered from the trash can?
Yeah, I believe we recovered a receipt from the trash.
Showing you states Exhibit 8Q. Is that the receipt that you're discussing or saying that you recovered?
Yes.
Moving on to states Exhibit 8R. With respect to this item, is that the receipt from the trash can?
Yes, it is.
I want to ask you if you can read for us the highlighted portions of that.
Yes, it's a receipt from Harley Jack's Burgers and Brews in Ossipee. And it has a date of February 28th, 2024 at 4:46 p.m. The server's name was Christine K. The check number was number 14, and it says that it was ordered February 28th, 2024 at 4:46.
At 4:46 p.m.
Correct.
Moving into states Exhibit 8S like Sam. Can you describe where we're looking in this image?
You're standing in the kitchen looking into the living room.
So that doorway that's open there, that's the living room where Ms. Nassiger's body was found? Is that
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
Now, earlier you had talked about the fact, and we had seen the video that you took of the outside of the house, right? And we watched that small clip. Did you take a similar video of the interior of this apartment?
Yes.
Can you describe for us what you did in taking that video in its entirety?
Like I said, you walk into the apartment and you walk through all the rooms at a slow pace, just trying to document what's in each room.
You open all the drawers, look inside of everything.
Sometimes, like I said, we do it in layers, so you don't want to disturb too much. Normally when we first get there, we want to document the scene as it is without manipulating it.
When you took the video of the interior of this house, had Ms. Nassiger's body already been removed?
No. Or it may have been, I know that we farrowed with the body in there. I may have taken the video after the body was removed. I'm not 100% positive on that.
Okay, so I'm going to move forward so you can see exhibit 8T like Tom. At the time that this photo is Ms. Nassiger's body there?
She had been removed at that point.
Moving forward to exhibit 7B, which is a clip from that video that is in evidence. Looking at this image here, was Ms. Nassiger's body present at the time of the video or removed?
She was removed at that time.
Okay, so we should not in this video expect that we will see.
Correct.
Mission public.
Yes.
Dave?
Like I said, the body had obviously been removed, so things might have been disturbed when we moved the body.
I know you've described the area and where the body was positioned, Ms. Nassiger was positioned. Can you give us a general idea of where we would expect to see her? Were she in this image?
She was positioned, if you see this pink blanket on the couch, that was wrapped around her, and she was seated here with her right leg up on the coffee table, as if she was relaxing on the couch.
The red blanket that's on the floor in exhibit 7C by the coffee table, is that where it was originally located?
That may have been displaced during the removal when we removed the body.
Your Honor, at this time, the state has subscribed the ID from state's exhibits 9A through 9J.
No objection. The ID may be stricken with respect to exhibits 9A through 9J inclusive, and they may be considered as full exhibits.
Can I have one more?
Sure.
Here, Johnson, facing onto the screen, state's exhibit. Actually, let me ask you a few questions first. With respect to state's exhibits, or the next photographs, are Ms. Nassiger's body visible in the next couple of images that we're about to show?
Yes.
Can you describe for us when we see her? And I'm happy to have you take a look if you want to describe it from state's exhibits. So you don't have to go another way. Yes, you might be.
Yep.
Can you describe for us what we should expect to see?
Yes, you can see the victim on the couch with the pink blanket on her. That red blanket that was on the floor in 7C was in fact to her left with her left arm resting on it. And her right leg is elevated and resting on the coffee table.
Missing onto the strange case of 9A. Does this image represent the positioning of Miss Naffziger as she was when her body was located?
Yes, that's the original location that we found her in.
You've already described that the pink blanket is over her shoulder. She has another blanket next to her and her foot on the coffee table.
Yes, and a purple pillow behind it.
From what you observed, is Miss Naffziger wearing any shoes on?
No,
Were any shoes for an adult located near her in the living room?
I believe they were just children's slippers and children's shoes.
You had described a cell phone wallet case. Can you point that out to us?
Yes.
Behind that cell phone wallet case, what's that on the couch?
A pair of eyeglasses.
Now, behind Miss Naffziger, almost at, I would say, the center of the photograph, there appears to be a white mark on the shelf of that built-in bookshelf. Can you describe for us what that white mark is?
Let me just picture them pointing to the right thing. This mark right here. That's a built-in wooden shelf, and we located what appeared to be consistent with a defect.
And when you say a defect, what do you mean?
That's just the terminology that we use for lack of better terms, entryway of a bullet.
And moving closer, and State's Exhibit 9B, we also have the imagery of Miss Naffziger on the scene. From this angle, can you still see where that bullet defect is?
Yes, it's, right here.
And just one more, State's Exhibit 9C, moving in closer to Miss Naffziger. Can you please describe for us what we see here?
What is consistent with a gunshot wound to the head.
Miss Naffziger's clothing, first of all, that pink blanket is no longer over her shoulder. Was that moved by officers during the scene?
Yes, we moved on to like the next layer of documenting, and we would move the blanket off of her to photograph.
And once the blanket was removed, what is Miss Naffziger wearing for clothing?
She looks like she has a black sweater on, a purple shirt, and it looks like a scarf around her neck.
Please Exhibit 9D, what are we looking at here?
That's a photo of the couch after we removed the body of the victim.
Now, with respect to the glasses that were on the sofa, on the couch, what happened to those? Okay, now,
I believe that we collected those as evidence.
would they have been transported with the body?
I can't recall specifically if we made them a separate exhibit or put the glasses in the bag with the body. I can't recall specifically, but I know we collected them.
Moving to State's Exhibit 9B, we've got a yellow marker here. Can you explain for us what we're looking at?
That's the evidence marker to mark the cell phone that's on the couch.
And just, you've done close-ups and overalls of all of these pieces of evidence. Is that fair to say?
I didn't personally take the photos. I don't believe I did, but yes, we documented close-ups.
So moving into State's Exhibits 9F and 9G, what are we looking at?
It's a cell phone that's contained within a wallet case.
Were the contents of that wallet case used to identify Miss Naffziger on scene?
Yes,
And what was used specifically?
driver's license.
I want to back up so that we can take a look at the couch as a whole. Looking at State's Exhibit 9H, is this just a full view of the couch or the sofa as it was inside of the living room?
Yes.
Now, when we watched that video walkthrough that you did, State's Exhibit 7B, you sort of got very close to the sofa. Is there a reason why you did that?
Just documenting close-up shots of the evidence.
Was there anything on the sofa itself that you were documenting specifically?
I recall doing close-ups on the left side of the couch. Around here. That I located a couple of pieces, what appeared to be consistent with the skull.
So moving to State's Exhibit 7D, there are 2 items circled there. Can you explain for us what we're seeing?
That's what I noticed, and it consistent with skull.
So consistent with bone pieces?
Yes.
Looking at State's Exhibit 9, we're back on I. Does this image accurately show the placement of the coffee table as it was in line with the sofa?
Yes.
And this is obviously after Ms. Naffziger's been removed.
Yes.
And that red blanket is positioned there from its original position, correct?
Yeah, it's displaced from its original position.
Now, you had discussed that when you looked at this living room, when you entered into it initially, and then when you were conducting your search for evidence, that you had observed casing inside of this location.
Yes.
Can you orient us to where we would be looking if we wanted to find where that casing was?
Yes, the casing was behind this chair on the floor, so that's the right side of the couch.
Now, I want to take a look at the rest of the living room. So this photograph State's Exhibit 9J. Does that accurately show the living room as it would be viewed from the sofa or the couch?
Yes, it does.
In terms of this desk, what kinds of items were associated with the desk?
It appeared to be a computer desk, but we noted that the tower, the actual computer itself, was missing and unplugged.
At this time, the state would move to strike the ID from State's Exhibits 10A through 10B and have them admitted as evidence.
The ID may be stricken with respect to 10A through 10D inclusive, and they shall be considered as full exhibits.
Mr. Johnson, I want to go back to that little chair where you said there was a casing. So looking at State's Exhibit 10A, which should be on the screen now, can you sort of orient us to where the casing was found?
The casing's on the floor behind the child's, looks like a unicorn on the chair, right behind here.
And if I look at this image, there's a door frame that's right here where I'm illuminating in the corner of the photo. Where does that door go?
That goes to the kitchen.
And in terms of any other access point to leave this living room, where would those be located?
You could go forward, straight ahead to the master bedroom, and the front door is there.
Okay, so if I'm standing like the photo is taken, where would the doors to the master bedroom be?
To your back behind you.
Okay, and the front entrance of the home would also be to my back and behind me?
Correct.
Okay, and the kitchen would be through this doorway here that I have marked to the right.
Correct, to the right.
You had indicated earlier that the shoes you remembered seeing were slippers for kids. Do you see those in this image?
Yes, they're under the pink table.
Show me next State's Exhibit 10B. I think it's a little fuzzy there in the background, but can you identify what this marker, the yellow marker is that I've illuminated?
Yeah, the ALJ5 marker is next to the.
Moving a little bit closer on that, State's Exhibit 10C. Can you tell us what we're looking at?
That's the fire cartridge casing.
And State's Exhibit 10D.
That's the casing just flipped over to read the head stamp.
What's a head stamp?
The writing on the back of the casing.
What does that tell you?
It usually tells you a brand and caliber.
Were you able to determine the brand or the caliber from this?
It was a 9mm, and I believe it says S&B on the casing.
that consistent with other ammunition that was found inside of the house?
Yes.
No, not yet. I promise. I misspoke. We're gonna do a couple more. At this time, Robert, the state would move to strike the ID from state's exhibits 11A through and including 11O and have them marked as full. No objection.
The identification may be stricken with respect to 11A through 11O inclusive, and they shall be considered as full exhibits.
Now, after the casing was recovered, you had started to indicate about that bullet defect that was in the built-in bookshelf.
Yes.
With respect to that bullet defect, was a bullet eventually recovered?
Yes, we recovered a projectile.
So a projectile, not a bullet. I apologize.
It's okay, same thing.
Can you explain the difference?
That's just the technical term for it that we utilize.
I want to go ahead and move into states exhibits 11A and 11B here. Can you describe for us, so 11A, fair to say, is the sofa as it was after Ms. Naffziger, as well as all the blankets and everything else were removed?
Correct, yes.
With respect to states exhibit 11B, can you explain to us what that yellow marker is for?
I'd have to look at my actual evidence report. I'm not sure if that is a swab or if it's a piece of skull or hair. I'd have to refresh my memory with the DSSP 20.
With looking at the report, refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Showing you, Trooper Johnson, what I've marked for identification purposes only at states exhibit number 30, page 106108 for the record. You can take a look at that item.
Yes.
That's a copy of the report that you just referenced, your DSSP.
This isn't the DSSP 20, but it is part of my evidence signature report. It lists.
You can take a look and see if that would refresh your recollection.
Yes, it does.
Okay. Based on this, your review of the report, what is that marker for?
That is for swabs of the reddish brown stain on the couch.
If you want to split that item. Moving next to states exhibit 11C, can you describe to us, and specifically, I want to ask you about this area of the sofa, and I'm not sure now my device is. So looking at states exhibit 11C, specifically, I want to draw your attention to that white mark, the damage to the drawer. You described that as a bullet entry.
Yes.
Okay. What else in this image? Did you recover anything else from this area of the built-in bookshelf?
To the left of the defect by the knob, there's a clump of hair.
Moving a little bit closer into that 11D, There's a marker ALJ7. Is that referencing the hair that you're describing?
Yes.
Okay. Gonna look a little bit closer. I think that's a little hard to see. So if we can move into State's Exhibit 11F, like Frank, what are we looking at here?
That's a close-up of the hair around the built-in.
And that hair was recovered.
Yes.
Moving to State's Exhibit 11G, can you describe for us the changes that we're seeing to sort of the room and what process is happening here?
So like I said before, we conduct searches in layers. So at this particular point in the documentation, we slid the couch out from the built-in. So we had access to be able to see behind the couch.
And once you had access to see behind the couch, what, if anything, did you do?
We were then able to open the drawers of the built-in.
Now, moving into State's Exhibits 11H and 11I, can you explain to us or describe to us what these white stickers represent?
They're just scale, like L-shaped stickers with scales that we utilize to mark defects.
And with respect to this defect, it looks like there's an A written on that scale.
Yes, that indicates that's the first defect that I'm noting.
Are there multiple defects associated with this recovered bullet?
Yes, yes.
Moving to State's Exhibit 11J, what do we see here?
That's just the first drawer. Pulled out a photo of it.
And that's the drawer that the first defect was in.
Correct, defect A.
Was the bullet recovered from this top drawer?
No,
Where was it recovered?
I believe it was the third drawer down.
So were there additional defects that you were able to identify and mark?
Yes.
Looking at State's Exhibit 11K, can you explain to us what we're looking at?
Yes, so that's a photo of inside the drawer. So A1 would be the exit from the front of the drawer, and then 2A is a re-entry of the bullet as its flight path continues.
And then using this next one, State's Exhibit 11L, what is this?
That is another defect. A3.
So A3 is a third bullet defect associated with the same bullet or projectile, or?
Yes.
And where in relation to the first drawer, if you know, is A3?
I'm not actually sure based on this photo, if this is the second, it should be the second drawer, but I'm not positive with just this photo.
The bullet was, or the projectile, I apologize, was recovered in the third drawer down.
As I recall, yes.
Showing you State's Exhibit 11M, what are we seeing here?
That's a photo of the third drawer opened with what is the projectile in the drawer.
Once this item was photographed, what, if anything, did you do to recover it?
We packaged it and secured it and transported it to the forensic lab.
And just moving a little bit closer so we can see what that item clearly was, 11N, can you describe for us the projectile?
It's a projectile.
And that's as it was recovered inside of the drawer,
Yes,
marked as ALJ8.
correct.
Thank you. Trooper Johnson, go ahead. Go ahead and give you a minute. I just took it for a little while.
Getting a little raspy.
All right. Trooper Johnson, you had indicated that, I'll try to be loud from over here. You had indicated that you had recovered the casing and recovered the projectile. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And can you describe for us the process of that recovery?
We photograph it and collect it and put it in the appropriate evidence receptacle, I guess, based on size and what it is.
And I'm gonna ask you, I provided some gloves in case you can leave them. But I'm gonna ask you to take a look at what I have marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit 28. Can you take a look at that item and let me know if you know what it is?
I believe that this belongs to the casing.
Okay, does that have a number on it consistent with the recovered item number?
I'd have to look at my report, but it says ALJ5 on it.
Showing you again what's marked for identification only as State's Exhibit number 30. Would this assist you in identifying what that item is?
Yes. ALJ5 is a casing S&B 9x1921.
Is that the casing that was recovered from the floor in the first floor apartment next to the sofa?
Yes, it was.
And the one behind the wood chair?
Yes.
Okay. I could ask you to go ahead and take a look at that envelope for us.
Casing.
And taking a look at that item, does it appear to be in the same or substantially the same condition as it was in when you recovered it?
Yes.
During this time, state requests that the ID be struck and State's Exhibit 28 be admitted.
The ID may be stricken with respect to exhibit 28, which can be considered a full exhibit.
Put it back in there.
And to publish it, listed it, if we will go. Gonna go ahead next and show you what I marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit 29 for this case. Looking at that item, do you recommend what it is?
Yes, this should be the projectile.
Does that match in terms of the documentation on the envelope, your signature on the seal, and the assigned as?
Yes.
I'd ask you to go ahead and look that up. The item that's inside that container.
Yes, I can.
Okay, in looking at it, is that, what is it?
That's the projectile recovered from the drawer.
Is it the same or substantially the same condition as it was in when it was recovered by you?
Yes.
Around this time, the state would request to strike the item for 29 and have the item admitted as full. No.
The ID may be stricken with respect to exhibit 29 and it shall be considered a full exhibit.
With the court's permission, I would ask Trooper Johnson to step down and allow the jury to observe the items.
Certainly.
Trooper Johnson, you may have to walk up and down since they're such small items. If you can walk up and down, low to the jurors to see those items.
This is ALJ5. So he's in those cover. Go through that labels.
I apologize. Absolutely. You can show them the next item, see it's 29.
ALJ, the judge, the projectile covered. Typically, put them in these containers with gauze.
Thank you for the rest of it.
Attorney Kenny? Attorney Kenny? Second. Approach.
Yes.
Okay. And Trooper Johnson excused?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And please. Okay, members of the jury, we're going to conclude there for the day. I know that some days we may go all the way till 4 o'clock, but we are going to conclude there for today. I just conferred with counsel. We'll be ready to start at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. As I've said all along, please do not discuss any aspect of the case or the evidence with your fellow jurors, including if you see any jurors discussing the case. I would ask that you please report that to the court security officer or bailiff. I want to state that I recognize that some of the photos may be difficult to look at. I encourage you, regardless of that, again, do not discuss any aspect of the evidence or any part of the case with any of the fellow jurors during any of the breaks or even during the process of the trial itself. Again, as I've said, there is some media coverage with respect to this matter. I encourage you to I instruct you to not only avoid such media coverage, but to try to do everything you can to avoid even inadvertent exposure to that. And again, please conduct no research whatsoever yourself about any matter that you hear about in this case, or any of the witnesses or any of the evidence. Please conduct no research whatsoever. And again, I'm sure you will follow my instructions to make sure that this is a fair and a trial that consists with the law on such matters. Okay, so we'll start at 9 o'clock. That's it for the day. Thank you very much. By the way, that wasn't an air exchange. I do think that was some much needed rain that we heard on the rooftop. So anyway, thank you for your patience. Thank you for your service. We'll reconvene at 9 o'clock tomorrow. All rise for the jury.
All right.
Factor law that the court overlooked. It's simply
reiterates and reinterprets the transcript differently from how the court interprets it. I don't think that's a basis for the court to reconsider its decision. I think that the case originally cited by the state, Commonwealth versus Castano, talks about that evidence can be admissible if there can be inferences made that the evidence was somehow known to the defendant in some capacity. And in Castano, the inferences include the defendant being aware of the victim's desire to end the relationship because she obtained a roomie release form from the landlord. So completely separate from the defendant, and because there was a suitcase on the floor. And here, as the court's noted, there's numerous references to Mr. Duren asking, what is the plan? What is the plan? What's going on? To Ms. Nasker telling him some portion of the plan. I'm going to take the kids, take them back to Minnesota without your permission. And so I think that there's far more than enough evidence for the court to find that it's admissible for that purpose. And the court has made that finding. The state is not saying anything new. It simply interprets the evidence differently. A different interpretation of the evidence is not grounds to consider. I think, as the court referenced earlier during the objection during opening, the other purpose for which this is admissible is 8033 as Ms. Nasker's plan. And what is relevant is what both people in that apartment were doing, saying, how they were behaving. That is relevant to whether or not Mr. Duren reasonably believed that under the circumstances outlined in the defense of other statute was present. And so under both of those bases, the evidence is admissible. The court's ruling should stand. I'll also note that I think it would be very unfairly prejudicial to the defense were the court to reconsider its motion now, or its order now after we delivered an opening in reliance on the court's ruling. State had the opportunity to ask to speak to the court before the jury was called, and they did not do that. So I think all is favorable, required that the evidence be admissible. It's admissible under two separate theories. The state has not produced any areas of fact or law that the court's misapprehended. It's interpreting evidence differently, and ultimately it'll be up to the jury to decide how to interpret the evidence. So the court should deny the state's pleasure to reconsider.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, we're asking the court obviously to reconsider the court's ruling. We do believe that the court respectfully has misapprehended an issue of fact in the sense that it's misinterpreted the relevant portions of the transcript. The court referenced in its order pages 50 to 57, and what the state attempted to do in its pleading was to go through those pages as closely as possible. And I submit that if the court does that again, the court will see that although there are several references to a plan or planning or questions along the lines of what's the plan, all of those in context very clearly refer to the defendant questioning Ms. Naffziger about when she was going to leave. What's the plan? When are you leaving? When is Brenda going to pick you up? This is not what we planned for. Those are the types of statements that he is making. That is the context of any references to a plan. It is certainly true that according to the defendant and statements that he made, he told police he learned from Caitlyn that night that she said something along the lines of, I'm going to call the police and have the kids taken away from you. We are not disputing that, but that is a completely separate plan, so to speak, than the plan involving the two witnesses that are the subject of this motion. If we look at the plan involving those two witnesses, I believe it's uncontested that Mr. London will testify that that plan was a secret. The entire object of that plan was to conceal it from the defendant, because if they didn't, it wouldn't work. The plan was to assist Ms. Naffziger in stealing away with children sometime in the early morning hours while the defendant was asleep. There is no reason that anyone involved in that plan, if they wanted to succeed, would tell the defendant about that plan. Certainly not Ms. London or Ms. Naffziger. Ms. London's testimony, I think we all agree, will establish she never spoke with the defendant. And as we heard in the opening statement today from defense, I don't believe they're contesting that either, because according to the opening, by the time the defendant got outside and saw Caitlyn there with her bags, Ms. London was already gone. So there's literally no opportunity for them to speak. In the defendant's statement, he said he didn't have Brenda's number. He wanted to call her to facilitate Caitlyn leaving, but he could not because he didn't have the contact information. So I think we can all agree there was no means of communication. The evidence will show that there was no communication between Ms. Tolman and Ms. Spurgeon and the defendant. So the plan did not get communicated to him that way. It seems that the theory the defense is operating under is that to make this defense relevant, the defendant had some inkling. He knew that there was a plan. There was a claim that he said, where he thought, well, I don't know the specifics, but something is up. And that is not relevant for justification defense. The defendant, if he is going to successfully pursue that and successfully argue it, at least to the level of obtaining a jury instruction by the sum modicum standard, has to present some evidence that he reasonably believed that a kidnapping was taking place or about to take place. Ms. Naffziger is conducting a kidnapping or about to. The knowledge that there is a kidnapping implied is inherent there and it's necessary. If the defendant merely thought she's up to something, I don't know what it is, that is not enough.
No, he's just not thinking that, he's saying.
He is saying, what's the plan? When are you leaving? When is Brenda coming to get you? I don't believe there's any indication in the transcript or anywhere else that he's saying, are you doing something? What's your plan with Brenda? I think that is a completely different context that's just not present. So that kidnapping has to be there. He has to know specifically that there is a plan to kidnap these people. And all the references to some suspicion or some plan, there is no reference to Ms. Plumondon, and that kind of gets to the crux of it. The plan involves her. She's a key part of the plan. She's going to come up to Berlin and aid Ms. Naffziger. She is the only lifeline, the only transportation. He doesn't mention her at all. And in fact, in his statement, he says, I was trying to call her. I wanted to call her, but I couldn't. And I think had Ms. Naffziger told him about this plan, or if he had learned of it from her in that way, why would he call that person? There makes no sense that he would do that. So I think, you know, the crux of our motion is that a reading of that transcript of all the evidence and taking into account everything that we know, we expect to be evidence here in the trial, will establish that the defendant did not know about that plan, and therefore it cannot be relevant for his state of mind. I know counsel is arguing that it is relevant for Ms. Naffziger's state of mind. We've covered that, so I won't belabor the point, but when we were talking about justification defense, we were talking about what the defendant knew and what was in his head, and does it explain or justify what he did. If he didn't know about the plan, then logically, that he cannot have acted because of the plan. He cannot have killed Caitlyn because he thought she was going to kidnap his children as part of a plan with Ms. Plumondon. He may have certainly done so, and I think the evidence would support an inference or a conclusion that Mr. Duren killed Ms. Naffziger because she thought she was going to take the children away because that's what she told him. But that was by calling the police and taking a very different route. That is overt. That is, through some sort of legal process where she's saying, I'm going to call the police, have you arrested, say something that will result in children being taken away. That is a completely different track. That does not put into his head anything about Ms. Plumondon, or certainly anything that would should enable him to now argue, oh, I killed her because I thought she was going to kidnap my kids, specifically through this plan with taking kids away early in the morning. There has to be some indicator that he did that, and we just think it's not there, and that's why we filed the motion, Your Honor. So we respectfully submit that a reading of that transcript, while it certainly contains references to plans and planning, contains no references to the plan that issued here, and that's the one that matters.
Understood. Okay, thank you. Anything further?
Both of the case cited by the state in its motion, quote, there needs not be direct evidence that the defendant learned of the victim's state of mind so long as the jury reasonably could have inferred that there should be one. The jury is not required to make this inference, but the fact that they permissibly could have means that it's permissible as within the states. The court should not disturb its ruling. There are clearly reasonable minds can interpret this transcript in multiple different ways. And that in and of itself is enough to allow it to go to the jury. So the jury, as the finders of fact, can interpret it how they will. I think other than that, we covered it in our objection, our prior hearings on this issue.
Okay. I want to make sure to give counsel the opportunity to make any additional arguments on it with respect to the motion to reconsider. So I will, I also understand the practical objections raised by defendant counsel relative to considering the motion at this point in the proceeding. I will give you a specific ruling on the motion to reconsider tomorrow if you're ready with that objection. You're satisfied with the objection, correct?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, you're satisfied with the argument on that motion?
Yes.
Okay, no, I'll return to issue the order. I'm gonna read that pages 50 to 57 of the transcript. I'll read it for the 101st time tonight. I'll reread it again for the 101st time, and I will issue an order that's likely going to be consistent with my prior order. Just to be clear, but I'll put a little bit more on the record for purposes of any issues that need to be covered. Anything further on that? Okay, next, do we have an agenda for tomorrow? If we need to approach, we can do that, but the jury was attentive today. I know we've asked them to set aside a couple weeks out of their lives and out of their work. And I'm certainly okay with the fact that we ended early today, but I want to make sure that we're filling the day as much as possible because we're asking them to set aside time out of their life. So I just want to make sure we have a nice full day tomorrow, if that's possible.
So, Your Honor, we do anticipate that we will have a full day tomorrow. That will lead us potentially to an issue depending on how quickly we move. The medical examiner in this case is not available until the 23rd, which is Thursday at 9 o'clock in the morning. He is, I'm not sure he's at a training or I don't know, he's out of state. He's returning at 5 o'clock, I believe on the 22nd. He has agreed to be immediately getting back into his car and driving up here to be available for the 23rd at 9 a.m. Which is also immediately prior to testimony he has to do via WebEx for another case. So no matter where we are in terms of tomorrow, the state will be running into the anticipate scheduling issue. So we wanted to flag that for the court's attention.
Certainly, and that's thank you. Number one, thank you. Number two, as I said, I have no issue with the fact that we ended early today, but I want to make sure we have a nice full day tomorrow so that the jury understands that why we're asking them to take this much time out of their life. So it sounds like we've got a full day tomorrow. Roughly. Okay.
Okay, guys, so we have our day one with our opening statements on this case.
Sir, could you please state your name for the record?
Mark Philip Duren.
Mr. Duren, where do you currently live?
Okay, so that's our day one. They ended a little early there. I am kind of keeping my eyes in the YouTube world out here to see about the opening statements for the Fulio case down in Florida. It's about 3 there, so I'm assuming opening statements will not be until tomorrow. So we have this case that we'll be doing day 2 on, and then we'll have our opening statements hopefully in the Fulio case tomorrow. I will do a trial prep later on this stream, and I'll also open up Rumble. So make sure that you have liked and subscribed to this channel while our other YouTube channel is being, whatever you want to call it, until we can get back over there. But I'll do the trial prep for our Fulio case. We'll do that today. since we have an early day, it'll give me a couple hours to kind of get everything lastly prepared. I just wanted to kind of see how this feed was going to work today for us. So it seemed like it worked out pretty well. It was still some people over there on Rumble. We got some people watching the premiere of the Marcy CEO trial, because a lot of people didn't see the verdict. So I did do a on our channel. So I did do a premiere, so people that wanted to see it could see it all together and be able to chat together on our original channel. So what we'll do is we will go ahead and wrap up in here. Make sure you have your like and subscribe on, like I said, and we will reconvene back here tomorrow, guys. Okay. And you know that you were in the right place today. And I know that we don't have our emojis in here because I am not monetized over here. It's cool. You know you in the right place today where there's no filters, no fluff, just facts. So you can be the judge. If you want to join us for the rest of the premiere, totally up to you. If not, I will see you guys later on today for the trial prep, which is going to be very, very interesting for our Fulio trial. All right, guys. Peace.